Welcome to this episode of Bounded in a Nutshell. Remember to take a moment to click on the link below to donate to a very special organization. Figure Skating in Harlem is the first organization in the world to combine the power of education with the grace and discipline of figure skating. It is dedicated to developing confidence, leadership, and academic achievement in young girls from low-income backgrounds. The numerous stories of success from its alumni owe a great deal to the unique blend of mentoring and self-expression that is championed by FSH. Remember, no donation is too small or too large to keep the dream alive for these exceptional young girls. Thank you very much. Enjoy the show.
So, well, I think what we should do first is just go around everybody one at a time. I'll say your name and you unmute yourself and introduce yourself and just say what you're working on today and the name of the piece that you're working on and also what you're working on for yourself. What is it you'd like to concentrate on or get feedback on, or what you're thinking about in your work as an actor on May 16th. I'm Glenn Fleshler. You all probably know who I am, and I'm working on how to be a Zoom teacher, I guess. I've never done this before. I did guest in a class a couple of weeks ago at Columbia University on a directing class and talked to the directors, but this is a new experiment, so I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you get a lot out of it. Let's start with Dante. Is Dante there?
Yep, I'm right here.
Hi, Dante.
Hey everybody. My name is Dante Jean-Felix. I'll be doing a piece from the play Water by the Spoonful by Chiara Alegria Hudes. And what I want to work on is it's a piece I haven't touched in a while. It's a favorite of mine, and I've actually never been coached through it. And so I just want to see if there's new things I can find in it, and yeah.
Okay, thanks, Dante. Let's go to Sophia.
Hey, I'm Sophia. Let's see, I'm a student. I'm graduating today, so that's kind of exciting. I'm in a Zoom graduation class, yay. And yeah, so basically I'm doing a piece from The Dead Guy, and it's a really funny play. It's very satirical, and so I'm choosing a piece that's different than anything else I have in my book. It's a comedic piece, and I think what I want to work on is I think finding the right comedic timing and like button to things, but also staying true in the situation. So, and I think I'll probably talk a little bit more about that when we do it, but just trying to find truth in comedy.
Thank you. Okay, Isaiah, I think I know Isaiah. Is Isaiah here? No.
Here. Hey.
There you are. I know you.
Everyone knows Isaiah. He's trouble.
Isaiah's worked more than I have. What are you doing here, Isaiah?
I'm just trying to keep it sharp, trying to keep an edge,
You working from your car?
I am. I'm up in the San Juan Island, so I'm standing in the library parking lot for Wi-Fi.
Oh my God, amazing. Well, thanks for being here. What are you looking to work on?
I'm doing a monologue from Teresa Rebeck's Bernhardt Hamlet. Mm-hmm. And, honestly, like I said before, I'm just working on, new perspective, just playing, just trying to keep those in the moment artistic sensibilities alive. And, it's always nice to just continue to just tap into your truth and simplicity.
Beautiful. Okay, thank you. Let's go to, is it Kira or Kiara?
Yeah, it's Kira.
Kira.
Love to spell it in a confusing way. Thank you to my parents. I am doing the Jailer's Daughter monologue from Two Noble Kings. And it's a monologue I started doing relatively recently. Fell in love with it. And I actually usually do a cut version of it, but I learned the whole thing. And so that's sort of something I would like to work on, is like transitioning through the different parts of and beats of the monologue, and just sort of finding some more nuance and stuff with a piece that's sort of still new to me. So yeah.
All right, thank you, Kira. Is Christina here?
Yes, I'm
Hi.
always. Hi, I'm Christina. I'm working on a monologue today from a David O. Russell film, Joy. I recently read the script. It's great. I'm working on it because I predominantly interpret things more comedically, I would say. And otherwise, the motivation tends to be on one note. So I'm just curious if I can find more life to it than like living along the lines of rage alone, or so that's that.
Okay, thank you. Let's meet Sam.
Hi, I'm Sam. I'm going to do a piece from Comedy of Errors. You said something the other day about Shakespeare on camera versus stage that really resonated with me. And I think the thing I'm always trying to work on is transferring my live energy to the screen. So I thought it would be a nice challenge to take a monologue that I've done often with in-person auditions and do it in this medium or on this medium.
Great. Okay, I look forward to that. Laura?
Hi, I'm Laura, an actor currently stranded in Wisconsin, originally from New York, and
Oh, wow.
I will be doing Portia from Julius Caesar today. It's a monologue I've had for a long, long time. I kind of want to breathe new life into it. I think there may be some habits and residual things that I keep doing just out of habit with the monologue, so I want to make it anew.
Okay, great. Thanks, Laura. And finally, Brooke.
Hello, hi. So I'll be doing Act 1, Scene 7 of Macbeth, playing Lady Macbeth. It's a dream role. I'd love to do it. So I think polishing it up. I did do this scene for one day. It was for an event for celebrating the 400th year anniversary of the death of Burbage, who played like all of the leading roles of Shakespeare, the tragedies anyway. And that was in London last year. So we were kind of directing ourselves with it. So I think like having new eyes and like having a fresh interpretation.
You mean you're about to perform it?
No, I did it last year. It was just one day for an event.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, great. So let's say that we'll kind of use this order since that's the way I have you guys written down as we bounce around, because I'm breaking the form of what Chuck had originally set up where each person goes. We're going to keep you just all involved for longer chunks of time. So it's hard to kind of do warm-ups in this kind of format, but if you will indulge me, I just want to start with everybody with just breathing. That's going to be a lot of the focus of what I do with you. So just kind of take a few deep breaths and let go of any tension. I will breathe with you. And I'd like you to even exaggerate your breath so that it's somewhat audible. You can even, sigh a little bit. And as you do, just check in with your bodies. And I know we're going to be working a lot from sort of the neck up, shoulders up, whatever, chest up. But don't forget to engage your entire body in this process. This is work that I want you to be able to take forward into whatever work you do, whether it's on stage or on film. So, and even as I'm talking right now, you guys should just be breathing and breathing a little deeper than maybe you're used to breathing. That for me is the key to everything that we do as actors. So I know you all have different kinds of training, and I'm sure some of you have done all different kinds of breathing exercises and vocal exercises and physical warm-ups where you do different things with breath. But I want you to think about the area between your shoulder blades in front, right, your sternum, and just focus some breath over there and let it go. And you can do that a couple of times. And send some breath in between your shoulder blades in the back, that upper chamber. And then I want you to think about each of your rib cage, each side of your rib cage, and send some breath into those intercostal muscles. Again, some of you may have done this kind of work and maybe some of you haven't. But, and if you want to lean over, you can to open that up, or just do it with your mind and send the breath that way and just really expand that rib cage. And then I want you to send some breath down to your waist area. Like if you were to put your hands on your waist, you would try to push those hands apart. So take a couple of breaths. And as you're doing it, feel free to make sound. Whether it's a breathy sound or you're activating your vocal cords. Some of you may be more warmed up vocally than others. I want you to send some breath toward your abdomen, down toward your diaphragm and the lower part of your stomach, and sort of push out down there. And I want you to send some toward the lowest part of your lower back, almost to your coccyx there, and see if you can suggest the breath that way. You don't have to force it, but just kind of suggest it with your mind, that it goes into those areas. And as we breathe, and I'm going to do this with you as you're working on your monologues occasionally, I'm going to want to hear that breath. Okay, I want to do a funny little thing to start. I'm going to start with Dante. Where's Dante?
Right here.
Hi. Okay, so you're going to be the guinea pig in all of this.
All right.
So what I want you to do is say, this is pretty simple, is just say, ta-da, and then say your name, and then say ta-da again. And I want you to just, don't think about it too much, just kind of present. You can open your arms when you do the ta-da, and, just kind of let it out and present yourself. So it's ta-da, your name, ta-da.
Great. Ta-da, Dante Jean-Felix. Ta-da.
Okay, good. Reach down, get a little more confidence and a little more positivity. Don't sign. You take a breath beforehand, that's fine, as many breaths as you need, but then be on your voice and give me a full ta-da, your name, ta-da.
Okay. Ta-da, Dante Jean-Felix. Ta-da.
Okay, good. Let's go to Sophia.
Ta-da, Sophia, ta-da.
Okay, good. There was a little drop in energy after where you felt like a sort of apologizing or something like that. So the point of this ta-da is to really present and land it and don't apologize and just be fully present. So let's try it one more time, okay?
Okay.
And there's no rush.
Okay. Ta-da, Sophia Caressa, ta-da.
Great. Let's move on to Isaiah. And you can just do first names for the sake of brevity. Is Isaiah still with us? Isaiah? Did you
Yep. Hey, bud.
I worried that your car started rolling. Okay, you got it? You know this exercise probably.
Yeah,
This is a Jim Calder exercise.
it is. Ta-da, Isaiah, ta-da.
Good. Do one more, and rather than pulling back on it at the end, just continue to move forward with that great positive energy you had there.
Ta-da, Isaiah, ta-da.
Well, now it got sad. So let's step it up back toward that first one.
Ta-da, Isaiah, ta-da.
Good. Let's go to Kira.
Ta-da, Kira, ta-da.
Let's go to Christina.
Ta-da, Christina. Ta-da.
Good. Just don't let the energy drop at the end. Keep that same, that same energy you came in with. Don't let it fall off. Okay. That's something we're gonna work with, particularly those of you who are doing Shakespeare, where there's so much energy expenditure because of all the incredible imagery in it, where people can tend to sort of fall off. And we're going to work on driving through things and finding what's next if you push on through, as opposed to protecting yourself and falling back. Not to single you out, Christina, but try it one more time.
Okay. Ta-da, Christina. Ta-da.
Good. Let's go to Sam.
Ta-da, Sam, ta-da.
One more time, Sam. I didn't see you at the beginning there.
Ta-da, Sam, ta-da.
Okay, good. It feels a little bit like a question. So I want you to really just land it. It is 100% a statement, your statement of purpose.
Ta-da, Sam, ta-da.
Okay, little cerebral. So let's this time just let it fly.
Okay. Ta-da, Sam, ta-da.
Okay, good. Let's have Laura.
Ta-da! Laura, Ta-da!
No, I'm not seeing Laura.
Oh,
Sorry.
hi. Sorry. Here I am.
I'm seeing Isaiah for some reason. Okay, thanks, Laura. Let's try it one more time.
Ta-da! Laura, ta-da!
Good. All right, Brooke.
Ta-da, Brooke, ta-da.
Okay, it's a little yelly. One more time, just to really speak it, own it that way, but don't force it out.
Ta-da, Brooke, ta-da.
Okay, that was a little bit falling, so let's end strong.
Ta-da, Brooke, ta-da.
Okay, good. We're gonna take this ta-da to the next level. What I want you to do is do your ta-da, and then I want you to say the first line of your monologue. So everybody take a second, think of just the first sentence or line. And I wanna go back to that breath we were doing before. So before you work, just kind of breathe in and out, let anything you're holding go, and keep that sense of breath going. So once you do a big breath, it doesn't mean you then stop breathing. The breath is to activate so that we continue breathing through the work we're doing. So I'm gonna wanna feel that sense of breath through the work, okay? We're going back to Dante. So it's ta-da, and then the first line of your speech, and then finish it with a ta-da. Dante, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, go for it.
Great. Ta-da! Did the world's greatest best mom tell you about her daughter? Ta-da!
That was interesting. I think we want to hear more about that. Okay, good. Let's have Sophia. Where are you, Sophia? Sophia? I think someone walked away. Okay, Isaiah?
Yep.
Sorry.
Okay. Oh, where are you, Sophia?
I was on mute, so sorry.
That's all right. I know it's hard to get used to the muting and unmuting. I do sympathize. Okay, Sophia.
Okay.
Ta-da, first line, ta-da.
Ta-da! Reality TV is on its last legs, Eldon. Ta-da!
Okay, good. Let's do Isaiah.
Ta-da! I am here because I cannot seem to stay away from you. Ta-da!
Good, good. Again, made me want to hear more. Kira.
Okay. Ta-da! Why should I love this gentleman? Ta-da!
Okay, the second ta-da was a little weak.
Yeah.
Let's do it again and carry that intention through to the final ta-da, that you're putting a button on it. As if this first line was the whole story, right? We don't know that there's more coming yet. Okay.
Cool. Ta-da! Why should I love this gentleman? Ta-da!
Okay, thank you. Christina.
Ta-da! I made a phone call to Hong Kong this morning. Ta-da!
Good. Do it one more time. I want you to take a couple of deep breaths. Okay.
Okay.
Like what I was talking about, almost exaggerated. I'll do it with you. Just feel free to let anything go in your body that you're feeling hold in your face. You can even exaggerate it more. Okay, do that ta-da thing again.
Ta-da! I made a phone call to Hong Kong this morning. Ta-da!
Thank you. Sam?
Ta-da! I, Antipholus, look strange and frown. Ta-da!
Good, good. I loved the breath you took. That was great. Laura?
Ta-da! Is Brutus sick? Ta-da!
Okay, good. Do that one more time. Let me have a sense of an actual question, you wanting an answer, okay? Take a little breath. Thanks.
Ta-da! Is Brutus sick? Ta-da!
Good. Brooke.
Ta-da! Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Ta-da!
Okay, same thing I said to Laura. Don't let your questions in Shakespeare be rhetorical. Almost always, you know, sometimes a question you might think it's sarcastic and your character knows the answer, but Shakespeare's usually best when active. And if you can possibly make that question active, that you want an answer, even if it's something that you already know the answer to, it's more active to the other actor. And someday we will get back to working with other actors. And, you know, you want to be able to affect them. And that's what brings the language to life. I'm not singling you out, Brooke. I heard this several times already, and a few of the speeches begin with questions. The best way to hook your audience as well is to really pose that question. You know, if you leave it hanging there as a question, then your audience is going to lean forward and want to know the answer, whether you know it or not, or whether your scene partner is going to answer it. So let's try it again.
Ta-da! Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Ta-da!
Okay, good. Try it one more time and go a little further toward needing an answer to that.
Okay.
Was the hope drunk? I mean, do you know what you're doing? What are you talking about? What's going on? You know, that need, even if it's not as literal with the text, you know, there is a sense, I understand, of kind of irony there. Mm-hmm. But the need to be active has to be the same. And if you don't really need an answer to that question, if you're not really pushing him, then we're going to all assume that it's okay. It's not going to feel as dramatic. Okay. You know what I mean? So let's try it one more time and see if you can get a little deeper into the questioning nature of that first line.
Ta-da! Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Ta-da!
Good, good, interesting. Okay. All right, we're going to circle around again. We're going to get a little deeper into these speeches. Dante, are you there?
I'm here.
So when everybody checks back in with me, just speak for a second before you start and launch into a monologue or an exercise, just so that your face pops up on my screen and I don't miss anything. Dante, what? Yep. If I ask you what's the given circumstance in a short soundbite for your piece, what would you say that your character's given circumstances?
Great. So I have just come into a diner to confront my biological mom who owes me money. And she's talking to a student of hers. And I'm here to shine some light on my biological mom.
Okay, I want to work now on the first 4 lines or so.
Great.
With that in mind, just thinking about those given circumstances, okay?
Cool. Did the world's greatest, best mom here tell you about her daughter? I looked at that chat room once. The woman I saw there is literally not the same person I know. Did she tell you how she became such a saint?
Good, let's stop there. So you have 2 questions in that piece.
Yeah.
Just in that little blurb we did so far. I thought both of those, you could lean a little farther into the questioning nature, which is allowing yourself as the actor to not know the answer and to not know where you're going. Yeah. So part of it is the intention of maybe they're going to answer you. You're pushing them to answer you. You're trying to make them feel a certain way at the very least. Right. So let yourself extend yourself in that questioning a little bit. And what I'd love you to do, let's just do it one more time for now and we'll come back around to more of it. But great. Take a couple of good deep breaths before you start, okay?
Did the world's greatest, best mom here tell you about her daughter? I looked at that chat room once. The woman I saw there is literally not the same person I know. Did she tell you how she became such a saint?
Good. Even that last one, did she tell you, what is it? Did she tell you how
Did she tell you how she became such a saint?
Did she tell you how she became such a saint?
Yeah.
Did she? You know, if that was the end of the piece, I'd want to be hanging there on your every word. And your need to know the answer to that even though it's ironic,
Right.
a lot of these questions, you know, when a character has a monologue, we think, well, they know the answer. They're just posing, right? They're just putting it out there as a question to make a point.
Yeah.
But the more you get into actually needing an answer, needing resolution to that, you know, it has a reason, that question, even if it's a rhetorical question. It pulls the audience in. It also leaves you in a place of not knowing where you're going to go. And a big part of that for you is going to be letting breath in.
Mm-hmm.
You can let a lot more breath into your work so far. I mean, that's true for all of us. So that's not a cue on you. But we're going to come back to you. I just want you to start thinking about that. The breaths that we do at the beginning, I want you to start bringing those into the middle of your speech, okay? For all of you. Sophia, are you here?
Yes.
Hi. Okay, let's do the first few lines of The Dead Guy. And I want you to start with a couple of breaths, okay? Just really let yourself have it.
Reality TV is on its last legs, Eldon. That's why I need Eldon Phelps. On my show, we see how you, a total ordinary, average guy who's never caught a break, spends $1 million. And at the end of the week...
Stop there. Tell me just a hair about the given circumstances of your character.
Yeah, sorry, I jumped right in.
No, that's all right. That was my fault. But it's okay. It's fun. It's fun. Tell me a little bit, just quickly.
Sure. So I'm a LA producer, and I work on reality shows. I produce reality shows, and I just had a big flop. It was a reality show that I was trying to get normal people to tame wild animals, and that didn't go so well for me. So I'm needing a really good reality show. So I decided I'm going to go to this this small town and try to find someone who's so desperate that they'll go on this show that I'm creating, get to spend $1 million for a week, and then they die.
Wait, say the show concept of the show is that they die?
Yeah, that's what happens. At the end of the week, they die, but they get to spend $1 million.
They have to be willing to die.
Yes.
And you're pitching this now?
Yes.
Okay, so that same need you have, that strong need you have to make this happen, I want you to take those deep breaths, right? That's to fuel that need. And then you're a little bit pitching forward physically.
Okay.
So I want you to kind of use the breaths to relax all of that. You kind of have a tendency to kind of come this way, which is cheating you a little bit of using the words and the language and the emotional life of the character, right? Because once we do that physically, we cut off what might happen. So the breath is there to let you let go of that, to see what may come, right? And let the need come out in the breath. The breath is not meant to make you neutral, right? I'm not doing breaths to go, oh, I'm so relaxed, and now I'm just gonna do like really relaxed acting like this, right? It's to energize you, right? To take out of our preconceptions and see what comes if I just hold on to the language that I have. And you can take as many breaths as you need to find the next line, the next word, breathe in places you might not usually breathe, whatever. Okay, go ahead.
Reality TV is on its last legs, Eldon.
Okay, so relax your face. Your face and head are pitching forward.
Okay.
So that, again, I want you to put that in your intention, right? I get what you're doing. I want to see your body work less and your intention work more. The language do the work for you, okay? That's what the breath is for, so just let it happen. What happened was you did a couple of really good breaths, and then you held right before you started.
Okay.
So you have to give yourself license to not speak until you've got it, until you have breathed in that thought and are ready, okay?
Okay. Reality TV is on its last legs, Eldon. That's why I need Eldon Phelps. On my show, we see how you, a total ordinary average guy who's never caught a break, spends $1 million.
See how you, and then I want you to take a breath and find that a total average, because it feels rushed through. And I know this is actually getting at the heart of what you were talking about before, which is about comedy and reality. Right? Because comedy has a rhythm. And so we think like, if I play the rhythm, I'm going to land these jokes and it's going to be funny. But if you don't have a sense of truth under it, it's not going to be as funny to most. So the first thing is to own it. Then you can always speed it up later or find the laughs or find it in front of an audience, right? Or in an audition situation, you'll find where those things are. But the first thing is to own the language. I feel you a little bit racing past to the next thing. So I want you to kind of earn that. That little adjustment you made, I could see you fighting it a little bit. Your body wants to pitch forward. And that's all of us. That's something we all work on, right? Letting your neck go, letting your shoulders go, breathing and connecting to your voice so that your voice can reach out to the audience and grab them and reach out to your scene partner and affect them. And so that little fight that I saw, because you were reminding yourself not to do that, and it worked somewhat, your intention came out a little stronger, but that's going to be a continual fight through. That's something that you can kind of work on and remind yourself of while you're working on this. And really the key to the whole thing, I'm sorry to say it a million times, but I'm sure I will today, make you all crazy by talking about breath, but that's the key to the whole thing, is breathing and letting go more and further and deeper. And that is a lifelong process for an actor.
Yeah.
I'm doing it now, and it helps. It helps every time. Every breath is precious. Okay, let's do one more, and then we're going to move on, and we'll come back to this.
Yes. Reality TV is on its last legs, Eldon. That's why I need Eldon Phelps.
Right.
On my show, we see how you, a total ordinary average guy who's
right there, see where that's the same place where I can feel you have something planned. And that's what I want to get you out of, because it starts to be about you looking around and it's a kind of comic attitude, but I want to feel breath and you find that naturally, what you're going to call him.
Yeah, okay.
How you're going to affect him. So just go to that little bit right before then, see how you...
On my show, I see how you, a total ordinary average guy who's never caught a break, spends $1 million. And at the end of the week, you die. Hear me out, Eldon. Hear me out. I picked a spot on the map where I thought I'd find, for want of a better word, losers. And I mean no offense by that.
Good. Let's hold there. Okay, good. So there's a lot going on here. I know this is unfair to do a theatrical monologue on camera because the camera is right in your face, but it's good. It's good for our purposes because it lets me know what I need to know for you, for what to work on. And again, it's all going to go back to breathing and relaxation, but there's a lot kind of happening up here. And again, I think part of it is your comedic take on it, but I want you to trust that it will be funny as you get to the truth of it, and you'll get to the deeper truth of it once you let go of a lot of this. So as I go and work on it with the other people, I want you to continue thinking about breathing and relaxing this. And again, relaxing not in the sense of like going dead, because I love the expressiveness you have, but in just letting it come and letting it come and trusting, okay? Trusting in your own communication. Let's go to Isaiah.
Yes.
So Bernhard Hamlet, tell me just a quick snippet about your stance.
Without the whole story, just my speech, I'm a playwright and I have to break up with my muse.
Good. Okay, that's good. That's a perfect nutshell. Let's do the first few lines and start with some breath.
I'm here because I cannot seem to survive away from you.
That's great. Let's take that a step further. I'm here because, and then I want you to take a breath and find the answer, okay? So, and again, feel free to exaggerate. This is just experimenting right now. We're not doing a performance, so it's for your own searching, right? So yeah, that first line, wherever that break was, even if you just want to sigh in the middle of it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm here because, oh boy. I'm here because I cannot seem to survive away from you.
Okay, I feel a little bit like you're showing me thinking. So I want you to just trust in taking the breath and thinking. Don't show me that you're thinking, okay? Just find it. And again, if you need to take too long, that's fine. However it comes to find that next line. All right, don't judge it. Try it again.
Well, I'm here because I can't seem to survive away from you. I told myself I could. I must. I can live on memory. I can hoard the smell of you in a handkerchief I stole from your boudoir 6 months ago.
Okay, good. Stop there. All right, that was very informative. Good. I feel like you can use a lot more of this license because I see when you go to memory, I see your eyes wanting to go to memory. And I feel that you can trust enough to just breathe there and find the memory and not have to tell me, not have to signify, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think we're going to come back to this, but
Okay.
as I'm working with other people, just continue to work on that breath, and that's going to carry through as you're doing the language, because there are a couple places where it feels like it's a little bit held as you're trying to wrestle with, you know, what's next or what to say, as opposed to just letting yourself find it. You know the text well enough that if you breathe, you know, you'll get there. So don't judge what's going to happen. Okay. Don't manufacture it for me. Okay. All right. Thanks, Isaiah. Kira.
Hello.
Hi, Kira. Okay. Just tell me very quickly the circumstances of Jailer's daughter.
Yeah, so her father is a jailer, and he has recently taken custody of these two men who are from an opposing army, basically.
Just tell me about you. Tell me about you.
Yeah. And so she is helping to take care of the two of them, and she has fallen in love with one of the two men.
And what's she trying to work out now?
She's trying to work out. That's a big question that I have about this monologue. I think, like,
answer.
Yeah, I think obviously the first question of the monologue is, why should I love this gentleman? You know, why should I love him? And I think that's a big question of it, but I don't know that that's like the thesis of it.
Well, let's start with that.
Okay.
Okay, couple breaths and let's take it away. Just a few lines.
Why should I love this gentleman? 'Tis odds he never will affect me. I am base, my father the mean keeper of his prison, and he a prince. Should I keep going?
Oh, you can.
That's like the first.
Good. Let's just do it one more time with like a little more breath in between it. Don't worry too much about the verse right now.
Okay.
You can let yourself fall out of the rhythm for right now. You can always put that back.
Totally.
But I'm more interested in the mini transitions.
Cool.
Okay. Give me one more go. And remember about that activating of the question.
Yeah.
Okay. So whether it's to yourself or to the audience, whoever you think that you're speaking to, or it's somebody you imagine talking to, but it has to be active. You know, that is a big trap of soliloquy also. So it's a good thing to practice. All right, go ahead.
Cool. Why should I love this gentleman? 'Tis odds he never will affect me. I am base, my father the mean keeper of his prison, and he a prince.
Okay, so when you say you are base, what do you mean by that?
I'm ugly.
You're ugly and your father is?
Imprisoning him.
I mean, that's the whole title of the character is the jailer's daughter. It's your identity. So, you know, there is a struggle for identity.
Yeah.
Which there always is in Shakespeare. much of Shakespeare is about who am I? It's the first line of Hamlet is who's there?
Yeah.
That's what all this is, an exploration of who we are. And she's got this identity of jailer's daughter. So just give me that line, take a couple of deep breaths and own that line, kind of like we did with the ta-da. Just present those 3 words, I am base.
Okay. I am base.
Good. Do it a couple more times. With breath in between.
I am base. I am base.
The thing about Shakespeare's poetry is you could take a little 3-word line like that and you could do that exercise all day long and just be scratching the surface, because it can hold whatever you can bring to it. So however brave you want to be with that, about your own self-consciousness, we all have things we don't like about ourselves, but she is expressing herself in those 3 words and summing herself up in that way.
Right.
So the more you kind of dream on that, it could be different every time you do it. You could have a different image, and we'll come back around to it. So just keep, let something new come in each time, but it's really about the breath before it, to find that and see where that goes.
Glenn.
Yes.
Sorry to jump in, but Sophia has to leave at 4. I believe she has another class she's attending. Would it be possible to skew this a bit and give her a bit of, a chunk of time?
Let's do Sophia, and then we'll pick up with Christina with our exercise.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chuck. All right, Sophia.
Thank you. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. I changed the whole format of this thing. So let's just spend. I did spend a few minutes with you, which is good. Let's do a few more. And would you rather just do the piece for me, or would you rather we just continue to work in the way that we were working?
Continue to work in the way we're working.
Okay, so let's start again, and again, continue the breath. Remember, kind of not to reach forward, okay? To just possess it here, and this is also great camera training too.
Yeah.
Because, the camera picks it up, and they were asking me, I don't know if you heard the interview the other day, but we were talking about the transition from stage to camera. And a lot of it is that thing that we tend to, when we're on stage, we want to reach out and hit the back row, and we are trained that way, and then all of a sudden you get in a camera situation and it's all, here, right in your eyes, and you have to trust. A lot of it is trust that you're communicating if you're owning the thoughts and you're really breathing.
Yeah.
So let's keep that the focus, and let's take it away.
Okay. Reality TV is on its last legs, Eldon. That's why I need Eldon Phelps. On my show, we see how you, a total ordinary average guy who's never caught a break, spends $1 million. And at the end of the week, you die. Hear me out, Eldon.
Okay,
Hear
good.
me.
So the way I see it, the first joke is you die.
Yeah.
Right? And so the more charming you are, even though you're saying, these things about him, you're an ordinary guy and whatever, you are seducing him to want to do this, right? You need him to agree, to sign off. So make it sound as great as you can.
Yeah.
Okay. Still getting breath, still finding it in the rhythm, but really sell on it. Let's think about the intention now a little bit.
Okay. Reality TV is on its last legs, Eldon. That's why I need Eldon Phelps. On my show, we see how you, a total ordinary average guy who's never caught a break, spends $1 million. And at the end of the week, you die. Hear me out, Eldon. Hear me out.
Okay, so that's a very important transition. First of all, at the end of the week, you can take a breath there and really land that. You were talking about landing jokes and owning it. And the more you let breath in, the more truthful it feels, the more that's going to pay off when we hear maybe in the context of the play, we know this already, I'm not sure. But for the purposes of this monologue, just as a disembodied monologue, it should be a great surprise, right?
Yeah.
and then he says something or he responds, right?
Yeah. Well,
That is an opportunity for breath. And that's where I feel you rushing, because you feel like you have to show me that he's doing something.
yeah.
But just trust that knowledge, right? See it in front of you and use your intention to stop him, and don't feel you have to manifest, because that's the kind of thing that gets you to hold.
Okay.
And so what you want to do is let more breath in there. That's your opportunity to take the time and let something happen. It's harder when you don't have a scene partner, but that is the job of a monologue.
Yeah.
That's just the job we have, is to create the other person too, right? Okay, just pick it up from right before you die.
Yeah. And at the end of the week, you die. Hear me out, Eldon.
That's breath, that's breath. That's where I need you to not skip that step.
Okay.
That's where you're cheating yourself.
Okay. Okay. I'll
So
try.
just for now, build it in as a routine, and later you'll breathe wherever you want to breathe. But for now, just know, like, you die, and then take a breath and see what happens.
Okay.
Just let yourself be there.
And at the end of the week, you die. Hear me out, Eldon. Hear me out. I picked a spot on the map where I'd find, for want of a better word, losers. And I mean no offense by that. So I found Leadville. And when I arrived in Leadville yesterday, I started asking around about people in the town perceived rightly or
I want you to relax your eyes. I'm getting a lot of blinking. So this is, again, one of those things where the camera, you know, you could say it's doing you a favor and not doing you a favor. But for what I'm getting is a lot of fluttering, which makes me feel like you're not completely on the line, not completely connected to what you're saying. You got to let yourself relax. So let all of this relax, all of that that's happening. Just trust, you know this piece well. I can tell you know it well, which should give you the freedom to let some breath in. Okay. Don't race. Again, always put it back together later. Also, when you're in an audition or in a performance, let's say, your adrenaline will always make you go faster. So to practice with breath is to your benefit, because, you know, it'll make sure that you're owning it, so that when that does happen and you speed up, you're speeding up what's already feeling true to you and connected, as opposed to cutting yourself off from connection, right? Having an obligation to get, either land the joke or get to the next beat. And then I'm not like hanging on your every line, which I want to be. I want to be completely held, right?
Okay. I'll go from the end of the week. And at the end of the week, you die. Hear me out, Eldon. Hear me out. I picked a spot on the map.
You don't know that he's gonna hear you out.
Right.
So you got to stop him, make sure he stopped, and then proceed. You know what I mean? Don't race on to the next thing. Stop him.
Yeah, okay. Hear me out, Eldon. Hear me out.
Breathe.
I picked a spot on the map where I'd find, for want of a better word, losers. And I mean no offense by that. So I found Leadville. And when I arrived in Leadville yesterday, I started asking around about people in the town perceived, rightly or wrongly, as losers. And your name came up a lot, which I don't agree with.
So what I'm curious here, that's good and it's funny. I'm curious what your tactic is with him here.
Yeah, so this beat, I'm trying to make him feel like everyone thinks he's a loser. So in the next beat, I can build him up and be like, let's show him. Let's go out and show him. You know?
And in this case, on this show, being a loser is a good thing. It's what you want. It's what's going to get you on TV. So, you know, it has a little subversive quality to it, to be selling loserdom, right? So that could be the juice of the humor of the piece. You know what I mean? So celebrate that. You know, you have to kind of go one way or the other. If you're trying not to let him know that, or you're really, you know, laying it on in a surprising way. I think that might be fun, you know, to seduce him with the loserdomness of it. Like, we have a place for you, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Can I take it back to, I'm going to go back to that beat right before. Okay.
Good.
Hear me out, Eldon. Hear me out. I picked a spot on the map where I'd find, for want of a better word, losers. And I mean no offense by that. So I arrived in Leadville. And when I arrived, I started asking around about people perceived in the town, rightly or wrongly, as losers. And your name came up a lot, which I don't agree with. Not at all, Eldon. I'll tell you who the losers are. They are the jealous, narrow-minded beetleheads who can't see who you really are, Eldon. And I am thanking God that I'm here to open their eyes. But the only way I can get you the money is if I get the ratings. And the only way I can get you the ratings is if I have something at stake. So, you can either drag yourself from day to day to day like the living dead for the rest of your meaningless life, or you can go out like a supernova, shining light to lead the world to a better, brighter tomorrow, and have one hell of a time doing it. So, what do you say?
Good. Good. That was a lot of good stuff. If I had more time, there's more I would do there, but I wanted you to get the feeling of some of the momentum of the piece because I know it's frustrating when I keep nagging at you. So I would say just like take that work forward that we did at the beginning and bring it all the way through, which is to continue to let breath happen and trust that it's going to be funny. Mm-hmm. And what's the last line?
So what do you say?
Yeah, so that the whole thing drives to, so what do you say? You're going to get a yes. You are, because what you told me about your circumstance, you are determined and you need this. Mm-hmm. And you're going to get a yes, but you're going to do it by selling, by charm, right? And all that stuff, and appealing to whatever you know about him. Mm-hmm. And so the what do you say, make sure that finishes strong. And again, needing the answer because it ends on a question.
Yeah.
And, that'll leave your audience. I don't know if this is an audition piece for you, but if it is, that'll leave you, people wanting more. They'll want to know, what does he say? And, where does he go from here? Mm-hmm. So continue to work that way with just a lot of breath. I feel like everything you're doing can be more, but it has to be not through tension, don't force it, don't preordain it. Let yourself own it, own your own natural charm. Mm-hmm. And continue to work on just relaxing up here in your eyes and your neck and just kind of owning your stature, right? Yeah. Finding that confidence, that ta-da, the first thing we did, that's part of the key to it. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Sophia. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Onwards, Glenn.
Okay,
Sorry, mate.
All right, so no, that's perfectly fine. I'm glad we got to do that. Christina.
Yes.
So we were talking a little bit about given circumstances, to just get a little nutshell and to focus on that as you're working for this first little pass on a few lines. Tell me about, this is Joy, right?
Yes.
I know that I've seen the movie, but just tell me about your character specifically, what you think is happening for her here.
Sure. So in this particular scene, she's confronting a business partner who it's been made aware to her that has deceived her and has acquired money from her that she didn't owe, and it's put her in tremendous debt and her family in turmoil. So that's where this scene is at.
Okay, give me the beginning and let's start with a couple of good solid breaths, and feel free to vocalize on them if you want, and we'll just do a few lines.
Okay. I made a phone call to Hong Kong this morning. It was 1 a.m. in California, but it was 5:30 p.m. the following day in Hong Kong. I always thought that was amazing. How time works like that. But I was fortunate enough to speak to a Mr. Christopher on the phone, who turned out to be very nice.
That's good. That's good. That's good. I really like that. I was very pulled in. I'm looking forward to seeing more. So that's a good sign. I would say that you had a couple of places where you built in your own little natural break to think. And I thought that was great. And I thought it was, felt truthful. For the purposes of today, let those little moments be more of those deep breaths.
Okay.
It's a chance to break your, we're just explorers, you know what I mean? We're just seeing what's in the mystery of ourselves, you know what I mean? And seeing what we can get out of there and what we can use for the purposes of drama. And it's that breath is what pulls that out. Besides just relaxing you so that you can communicate, it's also searching around for new snow, as someone once said. So as we keep going, just layer that into your work for today. You can never do it again if when I'm not around, but for today, because you already had those natural moments of sitting and thinking, and I wonder, it just made me want more and wonder what else is underneath there. So just think of it as an experiment today, okay? But I think what you're doing feels very compelling, and I do want to see more. All right, let's have Sam for a bit.
Hi.
Hi, Sam. Okay, so Comedy of Errors, who is this?
Adriana.
Adriana, yeah. And what's your sense of her at this point?
She's hurt and confused and wants to get to the bottom of why her husband has been acting so strange.
Right, because it's a comedy of errors. Okay, so same deal, couple of deep breaths. Again, those of you who are doing Shakespeare for the purposes of today, if you're interested in verse speaking and rhythm and all that stuff, I can talk to you about that. But because we're doing so much focus on breath, I want you to also be willing to let go of the verse a little bit, find spots to breathe wherever they may be. They could be right, they could be wrong, to let yourself just have a new experience. So feel free to let that in wherever, and let's just do the first few lines of this. And remember about those questions that we talked about.
I, Antipholus, look strange and frown. Some other mistress hath thy sweet aspect. I am not Adriana, nor thy wife. The time was once when thou unurged wouldst vow that never words were music to thine ears. That never.
Okay, let's stop there. So each of those little phrases, right? Adriana, nor thy wife. There's a few of the little breaks, natural kind of breaks in there. Let some breath in, okay? Let's start just playing around with it. And let the breath kind of relax you physically, so that I don't want it to be languid. Obviously, she's pissed off. It's a very strong moment. But I want you to let the words do it. Okay? And your breath do it. So just this, the kind of movement up here, just kind of sit back, be tall, breathe deep, and get them with your words. Get what you need to get.
I, Antipholus, look strange and frown.
Okay, so still a lot of head movement. So I want you to go to the back of your neck. I want you to just send your thoughts there, and when you breathe, let go a little bit in the back of your neck, just this area. You can even move it physically a little if you want to, just to kind of loosen it up. And relax your face a little bit, right? The I is just like, oh yeah, right? Oh yeah, you're just looking at me like you don't know what I'm talking about, right? That's what he's doing, right? With that dumb look on his face. Get a deep breath. Let go up here. Just literally like a pinprick. Just get him with the words. Don't let anything move up here. It's all breath and words. Go.
I, Antipholus, look strange and frown. Some other mistress hath thy sweet aspect.
So after you said frown, that's where I want to see you take a breath. Look strange and frown. That was strong. And then get a breath and find your next thought.
I, Antipholus, look strange and frown. Some other mistress hath thy sweet aspect.
Breathe.
I am not Adriana,
nor thy wife.
Breathe.
The time was once when thou unurged wouldst vow that never words were music to thine ears, that never object pleasing in thine eye, that never touch well welcome to thy hand, that never meat sweet savored in thy taste, unless I spake, or looked, or touched, or carved to thee.
Okay, stop there. You know what happened? You know what happened?
I don't know. I didn't know it was rhetorical.
I guess I have to work on it. Do you know what happened?
Take a breath.
I got goosebumps is what happened.
Oh, awesome.
That was the simple adjustment of whatever was going on up there. You let that happen. You let the words happen. And you also took time with that breath. And I understood every word and what you were going through. You know what I mean? The trick with Shakespeare is it wants to gallop. There is a natural gallop to it. And you as the actor have to go through and find out what each specific beat and little mini transition is. We'll talk about transitions in a minute. But
Glenn, can I jump in very quickly?
Yeah.
It's very interesting that you told her to take breaths when she needed them, and pretty much all of your breaths came at the line endings. It was very interesting, just randomly. But you probably knew that would happen.
Well, you know, he builds that in. He does that for you, particularly when you're not thinking about it. When you're not thinking about it, it will take over. But the good thing was that you were in control. You know, you didn't let Shakespeare control it because I am guilty of that too, where you can really get on a horse and gallop. But the first thing you got to do is bring your audience in, bring your scene partner in, and the breath helps you do that. And I really hung on to that story in a great way. So that was an excellent step forward. Where are we, Laura?
Hi.
Hi, Laura. Okay, wait, what are you working on?
Portia, Julius Caesar.
Portia, right, because I had two characters written down for you.
Oh.
Portia, yes, indeed. Okay, and what's your sense of Portia at this moment?
Pretty similar to the previous in base terms, as in hurt and confused with the husband.
Trying to get a husband to listen to you, right? Same old problem.
Yep. And more specifically, I've been hearing bumps and thumps in the night with him taking in a lot of his cohorts, and I basically know nothing about it, and I've been repeatedly asking him for information that he won't give.
She got a bad feeling about what's going on.
Shady, yeah.
Something is definitely afoot. Okay, let's take a couple of breaths and hear some Portia.
Is Brutus sick? And is it physical to walk unbraced and suck up the humors of the dank morning? What? Is Brutus sick? And will he steal out of his wholesome bed to dare the vile contagion of the night and tempt the roomy and unpurged airs to add unto his sickness? No. No, my Brutus, you have some sick offense within your mind, which by the right and virtue of my place I ought to know of.
Good, good. That was very good, very strong. I love the way you use the word mind, because it, you know, played on the whole question of sickness, and then no, it's in your mind, right? And I like the way that you I don't know if this is based on what we've been talking about or just your natural inclination, but the way you use the questions, which are throughout that first several lines of that speech, right? It's all questions.
Yeah,
And
sure.
you did play them as questions, even though you may or may not know the answer, but you played them as questions, and I found that effective. I think you can go even farther with that sense. And just what I mean by that is the wanting of an answer for him. because you are trying to get him to talk to you. So even though it's in the structure of a Shakespearean, iambic pentameter that, again, as we talked about, has this kind of, can have this galloping feeling, to land each of those questions, to want something back with him, particularly when you're doing it not in a scene, but as a monologue where you're also creating Brutus for us, is very effective. And I think you can just continue even further down that road of needing something back. And for now, I don't feel that you rushed it, but I feel like for now you can even just take too much time just for the sake of, again, of exploration, to just let some of those things hang and really challenge him and really want something from him. But it really paid off when you said, no, it's in your mind. I got a real story there. And I look forward to hearing a little more of that. So thank you. Brooke, yes?
Hello, one second.
Wait, I don't see you.
Got it. Got it.
Okay, great. Okay, Brooke. Just give me most of us know Lady Macbeth, but just give us your sense of what's happening right now.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since, and wakes it now to look so green and pale at what it did so freely? From this time such I account thy love.
Okay, good. Let's stop there. So here, this is a great one to do that questioning thing with. And I think you can definitely let more breath in there. I felt you were off to the races, particularly with Shakespeare, because the language is a little foreign to the audience. It's very helpful to start slow. And you'll find that most of the time, his soliloquies and bigger speeches start with a lot of monosyllables, right? In sooth, I know not why I am so sad. It's very hard to say that fast, right? Because he's also in the rhythm, slowing down for you to let you in, and then sometimes it speeds up. So even though it's an incredibly dire situation, again, here's another woman talking to her husband, trying to get a response out of him, right? Trying to shake him.
Yeah, that's a really good note, I think, because I know I do have the tendency to race through it. I think because I feel like there's urgency, but I think actually that clarity is probably more important, right? That
it's a series of questions, but within each, there could potentially be an answer. And for you to let that hang just a little bit, and also as an actor to be able to regenerate with breath is very powerful, right? Because it's really dressing him down. It's really diminishing him. Right? And this is the portion of the play where she is at her most determined and he is at his most questioning. And then they kind of switch places in the middle of the play where she's suddenly, her conscience comes out and he deadens his and continues on forward. So to try to get him on board with you, let each of those things land. So let's start again. Oh, I had asked you, sorry, you launched in, but I wanted to know your sense of where she is, where you think that she is.
Given circumstances, you mean?
Yes.
Well, she is a noblewoman who has been made aware that her husband will become king by supernatural powers. And she's very eager to make that happen. And the king is present, so there's an urgency that it could happen now.
Right. And he's just told you what?
He's just told me he's not going to go through with it.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Well, the next section I was going to lead into, I'll start with you, was about the moment before. And this is a kind of a common actor term. But I think it's worth, particularly in the sense of monologue, and I don't know how many of you are thinking of these as audition pieces, but for those purposes, the best sort of weapon you've got is to come in with your moment before, so that you're starting from a place that you have a touchstone of where you're beginning from, what's going on for your character, where then you can just let that breath take you and dare to be and be present. But that takes the homework of knowing what's just gone on before for you, specifically in your mind. We all know the play, but that doesn't mean we know what you've got in mind. So what do you think, what grounds you here?
I think there's a bit of, what grounds me in sense of?
Well, you're going to start this speech. Where are you starting me off in the story? in just the purposes of this little mini story of this speech? You know what I mean? What's like the first thing for you?
The first thing is to convince him to go ahead with the murder, right?
Okay, but before that, you're questioning him.
Yes.
And before that, you hear what from him?
That he's not going to go through with it. It's off.
Okay, so is that it? Is that the moment before for you? That he's, I'm not doing it?
Yes.
So, you know, if you were to, I know you said you had done this for a performance, but even so, if it's a performance in front of an audience, or it's, you were to take it and do an audition with it, you walk in, you take those breaths, right? What are you doing during those breaths at the beginning? First of all, you're getting everybody's attention. And second of all, you could be hearing him say that he's not going to go through with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should play that beat for yourself. Certainly for now, again, while we're in experiment land and we're just messing around with these pieces, take the moment to hear him say it and go through that process of processing that. So let's breathe. Before we get into letting the verse, you know, carry us, just play that and see where it goes.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself?
Okay, really make that a question. Get an answer from him. Are you drunk? Are you out of your mind? Make it active.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since?
Okay, good. Now you need breath there. Dressed yourself. Let yourself have that breath, because you got another question to ask. And it layers on top. It's all of a theme, but don't let that make you rush. Own each one, because it's going to make them feel smaller and smaller and smaller until you get what you want, right? Until you get the answer that you want from him. Okay, breathe.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since, and wakes it now to look so green and pale?
So I didn't get the question because you were on to the next thing. I didn't get, hath it slept since? No, it hasn't slept since. Yes, it has slept since. I don't know the answer. I want you not to know the answer. I want you to get it from him. Make him answer you, okay? Then the rest of the speech will be there. It will wait, okay? But if you can follow through to that, then each thing has its own power. And I think you're cheating yourself a little, because you're on that gallop a little bit, wanting to get to the next thing. So you got to breathe to own each thing, okay?
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since, and wakes it now to look so green and pale at what it did so freely? From this time, such I account thy love. Art thou afeared to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire?
Good, let's stop there. I think if you follow through to those questions, that was much better. Hath it slept since, and wakes it now to look so green and pale at what it did so freely, right? Still a question. And then there's a determination that happens.
Yeah.
So there should be for you a little bit of sense of, you know what? Just that little phrase in your mind. You know what I'm saying? You know what? From this time such, right? So you haven't determined it before. It's happening right now in front of us. You know, that's so much more exciting for us to see that happen to you in front of us than a woman who's come on stage with a whole plan of how to affect her husband. You don't know that he's going to wither. He just withered in front of you. That's what I meant about the moment before. It's such a strong moment before, because it's so disappointing. It's so antithetical to everything you want has just happened, right? So the more you can crystallize that for yourself, and then you have something to really play against, right? And rein him in and make him feel small and do whatever you got to do to him, right? Okay, from this time such, right? From now on, here's what I'm going to do, you know, and you lay it out. And again, then I'm leaning forward and I want to know what you're going to do to him. Okay, let's take it from there. From this time such, we'll just do another line or two and then we'll circle around.
From this time, such I account thy love. Art thou afeared to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire.
So again, question. Are you afraid? Are you afraid? Say it to me. Say you're afraid, right? Make him say it. He won't say it. And that's what's going to make you win.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to get you what you want. But you got to put the screws to him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Keep it active. Don't know the answer. One more time from there. From this time, such.
From this time, such I account thy love.
I account thy what?
I account thy love.
I account thy what?
Love.
Love. This is going to determine how much I love you.
From this time, such I account thy love. Art thou afeared to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have, which thou esteemest the ornament of life, and live?
Okay, good. Let's stop there. I'm going to just do one last line with you, which is that one. Art thou afeared to be the same? Give me that line.
Afeared to be the same in thine own,
act and valor.
Valor, yeah.
That's the thing. I want to hear each of those things. They each need to have their weight. So don't rush past that. Mm-hmm. Are you afraid to act, to be courageous, right?
Mm-hmm.
As thou art in, what's the end? As thou art in desire. So you're comparing those things. So they each need to have their weight, okay? So don't assume the end of the line. Let yourself go through each one. Because again, it's a lot. She does a lot in the first half of the play of questioning his manhood. He is a very brave warrior. He's done a lot of killing. And now when it's going to suit you best, he doesn't want to do it. Mm-hmm. So you know this man, you know, you've lived intimately with this man for a long time. You know how to attack him. You're attacking his manhood, his courage. Okay, go for it.
From this time, such I account thy love. Art thou afeared to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire?
You can't throw away valor, though. Are you not brave? You're not going to be brave? That's the whole thing, right? And then it still builds to desire. You're not going to be able, you don't get off the hook here. It's a lot to hold, but you got to earn each one, okay? That's what the breath is for. Just go right from that line. Art thou afeared?
Art thou afeared to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have, which thou esteemest the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage?
Good. Okay. So it's a lot to hold on to, and it's all questions.
Yeah.
But that's a real advantage in a monologue. I think it's a great weapon when you have a lot of questions, because it forces you to be active. So you have to keep questioning and wanting that response from him. Again, you're acting for two. In a normal scene, you would have Macbeth there, but you don't have him in a monologue. So, you know, you're creating him, and that is the power of the actor when you can do that. You know what I mean? So that need for him to answer you is what creates that for us. And we go, oh, this guy is in the shit. He's never going to be able to stand up to her, you know, if you're really pulling that out of him. All right, I'm going to keep moving. All right, thank you. That was great. Dante.
Yep, I'm here.
You know what? Just give me we were talking about the moment before.
Yeah.
I want to do a little more of that with everybody.
Yeah.
What's the moment before on this scene?
Okay, so I've just come into a diner. Like I said, I'm here to confront my biological mom about some money she owes me. And she's with one of her students because she runs a virtual chat room for crack addicts.
Did you just walk in?
I didn't just walk in. I came to confront her about the money. I saw that she's here with another person. Her students, kind of proteges, whatever.
What does that do to you? The other person?
Makes me mad.
The other person does?
It makes me mad because this guy that she's with sees her as this saint. sees her as a Mother Teresa because she runs this virtual chat room for crack addicts. And she's a crack addict as well. And I'm here for the money that she owes me. And
so is that useful to take him in at the beginning of the, so maybe that's your moment before. You know, I'm looking for things you can lock on to start, where you have a definitive starting place for yourself and for your audience. It doesn't matter if we understand everything that's going on right away, but we understand that you're rooted in something. Maybe it's the taking in of that other person and then the turning to your mother, right? Who you're addressing here. So let's play with that idea.
Okay. Did the world's greatest, best mom here tell you about her daughter? I looked at that chat room once. The woman I saw there is literally not the same person I know. Did she tell you how she became such a saint? Me and my sister had the stomach flu, right? For a whole day, we couldn't keep nothing down. Medicine, juice, anything we ate, it would come right back up. Your coworker here took us to Children's Hospital. It was wall to wall packed. Every kid in the barrio had the stomach flu. ERs were turning kids away. They gave us a flyer about the stomach flu and sent us home. Bright blue paper, little cartoon diagrams. It said to give your kids a spoonful of water every 5 minutes, a small enough amount that they could keep it down. 5 minutes, spoon. 5 minutes, spoon. And I was like, wow, this is it. Family time, quality time, just the three of us. Because it was gentle, the way you said, open up. And I opened up my mouth. And you put that little spoonful of water in my mouth, that little bit of relief. And then I watched you do the same with my sister. 5 minutes, spoon. 5 minutes, spoon. But now you couldn't stick to something simple like that. You couldn't sit still like that. You had to have another hit. A Department of Human Services report. That's my memory. 6 hours later, a neighbor kicks in the door. Me and my sister are lying in a pile of laundry. My shorts was all messed up. What I really don't remember is my sister. Quote, female infant, approximately 2 years of age, pamper and tear ducts dry, likely cause of death, dehydration. Because when you dehydrate, you can't form a single tear.
Okay, great. What's the ultimate point about that, about your dehydration and the single tear?
She, my biological mom, she's the reason why my sister died. And my sister could not even shed a tear. She couldn't cry to let anyone know, to let my biological mom, who was in the room, know that she was about to die.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, she's dead and I don't have a sister.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say this fucker.
Yeah.
That this woman that you see as a Mother Teresa, she ain't it.
Yeah.
And that he needs to know she has so many skeletons in the closet that he doesn't know.
The breath that you were reaching for in the latter part of the speech, where it gets very emotional, will serve you really well at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You can let a lot more breath in.
Yeah.
To work. I know I said that to you before, but
yeah.
If you get nothing else from me today, I think it all makes a lot of sense. I think you're very compelling, and the story was clear. But I feel like the ride that you can take me on, be fuller and richer, and you can have me hanging on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
If you're letting a little more breath in and not trying to manifest emotion.
Yeah.
Emotion will come, but it's really a matter of trust.
Yeah.
It's a matter of trusting that and letting yourself breathe and not quite know where it's going to go. A little less sense of knowing where it's going to go. And I feel like the early part of the speech, you can put as much gloss on it as you want. I'm going to tell you a little story. And it was so great. And there was something you said, you at some point compliment your mother.
Yeah.
What is it you say that she was?
When I go, wow, before I say, wow, I love you, Mom, my mom's all right.
You said something about it was gentle. Right?
Oh, yeah. Because it was gentle, the way you said, open up, and you put that little spoonful of water in my mouth, that little bit of relief.
What that says to me is that is the potential. That is what you hoped for, right? That is everything that you dream of, that you lack. It's all these stories. I was just reading Harry Potter with my son today, and there's a moment where he stands in front of this mirror that shows you what you want, and he sees his family that he never got to know. All the great, the more you read kids literature, you realize like all the parents are dead. It's true in all the comic books. It's true in Star Wars. It's true in Dickens. It's they always rip the parent in Bambi. They take the parents away. And all those main characters that we love, have this longing. And what I wanted to see was the potential for what your life could have been in that moment. That she was gentle. And if you take me on that ride, and I feel that connection to your mother, it hurts even more when you go down the road toward your sister's death, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the dehydration. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at that for now. Do you feel you have enough to kind of take with you and how to work on that? I don't want to shortchange anybody, but I just feel the pressure of having a lot of people to get to. But I wanted you to get the whole thing out just so I could really hear the whole story.
Yeah.
Also, Glenn, don't allow yourself to get too pressured. All of the sessions have run about 10, 15 minutes long anyway. So give yourself some breath.
Okay.
Also.
Yes, I will. Dante?
Yes.
You feel good?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to do it one more time just to try it.
One more time? Okay,
even
let's
if
do
it's
one
just,
more time.
even if it's just at like just the top, just to practice some more breath.
Okay, let's do it.
We have time.
Let's do it.
All right. Did the world's greatest, best mom here tell you about her daughter? I looked at that chat room once.
So, as opposed to her son, right? Because that's you.
Yeah.
That's a new thought.
Yeah.
Did you know that she had a daughter?
Yeah.
Does this guy know that? He probably doesn't know that.
No.
So let's take it a little further.
Okay.
Press him a little more. It's a new idea. I'm going to spin a little story for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that takes you out of the obligation of carrying any emotion. Of course, you're going to have emotion. That's what we talked about the moment before and what you want to do.
Right.
But go into storyteller mode. Charm this guy. Otherwise, why would he walk away from you, right?
Yeah.
But, you got a good story to tell him about his pal here, his coworker, right?
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay. Did the world's greatest, best mom here tell you about her daughter? I looked at that chat room once. The woman I saw there is literally not the same person I know.
let's take it one step farther. Really give her that title of the greatest, best mom. You know, I know it's ironic, but I think actually you can not telegraph any of the rage that's underneath it. Let's string this guy along. It's even more painful that way, and it's digging the screws into your mother more to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you've lived with this for a long time. It's not a new wound, right? It's an old wound that's being reignited here.
Right.
So you've developed years of ways of coping with it. So let's feel a little of that, what your life has been since all of this, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did the world's greatest, best mom here tell you about her daughter? I looked at that chat room once. The woman I saw there is literally not the same person I know. Did she tell you how she became such a saint? My sister and I had the stomach flu, right? For a whole day, we couldn't keep nothing down. Medicine, juice, anything we ate would come right back up. Your coworker here took us to Children's Hospital. It was wall to wall packed. Every kid in the barrio had the stomach flu. ERs were turning kids away. They gave us a flyer about the stomach flu and sent us home. Bright blue paper, little cartoon diagrams. It said to give your kids a spoonful of water every 5 minutes. You know, a small enough amount that they could keep it down. 5 minutes, spoon. 5 minutes, spoon. I was like,
so there, 5 minute spoon, 5 minute spoon, and then there was a little break there. So give yourself the opportunity to take that breath there. Just decide what you're gonna do with this guy, how you're gonna handle him. You know, it gives you an opportunity, right? You're taking the pause anyway. I'd like to see a little more breath. Also, just relax your mouth, because your mouth is doing a lot of stuff. So just let that breath relax all that. Whatever that's you don't know what to do. That's where the tension goes. So the breath is to let go of that. So just let go of it. Okay. All right, take it right from where you were.
Okay. 5 minutes, spoon. 5 minutes, spoon. And I was like, wow, this is it. Family time, quality time, just the three of us. Because it was gentle. The way you said.
So take a breath and just own that. I want you to really own this part of it. Just let yourself enjoy it. Go back to that moment when everything was possible and you were going to have a real family life, like where there was a minute where it was like, maybe your mother does care and maybe she's going to be all that, you know. Take a breath.
Because it was gentle. The way you said, open up. And I opened up my mouth. And you put that little spoonful of water in my mouth. That little bit of relief. And then I watched you do the same with my sister. 5 minutes, spoon. 5 minutes, spoon. Nah, you couldn't stick to something simple like that. You couldn't sit still like that. You had to have another hit. A Department of Human Services report. That's my memory. 6 hours later, a neighbor kicks in the door. Me and my sister are lying in a pile of laundry and my shorts was all messed up.
Okay, good. We got to stop there, unfortunately. I'd love to keep going. But I think that the more you let yourself have that moment, of her being gentle, and even through the, spoon and the timing of it with the sister, you don't have to give up your hand until time comes. The more you let yourself enjoy it, the more painful it will be for you, and therefore for us. But this is something I talk about in Shakespeare all the time, because there's so many little changes within a line that, the more you go through it, the more payoff there's going to be in the beat change. And that's the same thing for contemporary work. It's not as fast, sharp changes usually in contemporary writing as it is in verse, but a lot of actors have a tendency to want to soften those transitions to get from one thing to another, so it doesn't seem like they're acting. But if you really want to take us on an emotional ride, be brave and really go to the end of whatever that beat is, and trust that you're going to find the only way out the other side, whatever the beat change is, which is when you lay it in. And if you allow yourself that momentary glimpse of what it was like to have a great mother who cared for you, and what that feeling was, then the loss of it will feel so much stronger at the end. Your homework is to take this speech and record it. Because we have this great technology now where we can just watch ourselves, and it's a very painful thing to do for actors, but it can be very, very informative. And I want you to watch it, because there's some mouth stuff going on that is distracting me from all the great stuff you've got to give. You've got a really rich emotional life, and you have a lot to give. So I want you can do that on your own. You can just watch, do it, let yourself get lost in it, go back and look and say, okay, I need to relax this a little bit more, or that's a place where I was holding and I could take a breath, and just practice that, letting that in, so that you keep that sense of surprise. And the more you work it, and the more you make decisions on who this guy is, and what the story is, and the circumstance, and the moment before, and what you're trying to do, the more you can let it fly once it's go time, whether it's in an audition situation, or you're making a video, or whatever. That's, I said it the other day when Chuck was interviewing me, but I feel that kind of homework is really the key to freedom in performance. Is like knowing your stuff, so that you can then throw it all out the window and say, what happened today? And maybe it's totally different than yesterday. And that's what we hope for, is to just be like it's the first time, Okay, thanks, man. I gotta move on to Isaiah. Thanks, Dante. Isaiah, are you still with us?
I am.
How are things at the library?
Boring.
It's quiet there? All right, well, let's do a little Bernhardt Hamlet. We were talking about moments before, so where do you think your jumping off point is?
They're in mid-conversation. They're having a debate about whether or not she should be doing Hamlet on her own as a woman, tackling Hamlet, and what the ramifications are for that for everyone around them. Around her.
And what did she just tell you right before this speech?
She asked me, why am I here? It's the second time she's asked me, and she's getting frustrated with my presence.
Okay, that's good. That's good thing to work from. All right, let's give it a whirl.
I am here because I cannot seem to survive away from you. I told myself I could. I must. I can live on memory. I can hoard the smell of you and...
Okay, good. I'm going to stop you. I'm sorry, Isaiah.
That's okay.
But, it struck me that there was a beginning thesis there, right? Which was, why are you there? Because you can't stay away, right? That's a strong statement, right? And that's what she's been bugging you to say. What are you doing here? What are you doing here, right? Boom, land that. And then make the transition into this other thing, which is, I told myself, I want to hear that thought process, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It sounded all kind of like the same idea, but I think there's a new idea that can come in.
Yeah.
Which was like, I didn't want to be here, I was doing this, I'm not exactly sure. I don't want to tell you what it is, because you'll find what it is, but I think there's some change there. Let's try it again.
I am here because I cannot seem to survive away from you. I told myself I could. I must. I can live on memory. I can hoard the smell of you in a handkerchief I stole from your boudoir 6 months ago. Sorry. I can read and read again the words that I wrote for you. And your voice is there, but it is not you. It is an echo, or worse, a fabrication. It is only a dream of you. And I am not alive anywhere but here. Anywhere but here. How many times have I seen you standing here, knowing that it is my words you say, while they're hanging on your lips and your looks?
Okay, good. I want to throw in that idea about the question again. Really ask her, even though you know the answer, but ask her, because again, it turns it a little bit back on her. Maybe she'll give you a kind look or word or something, you know? Maybe she'll give you something that you're wanting. So try to make that question active.
Okay.
How many times?
How many times have I seen you standing here on stage, knowing that it is my words you say? While they're hanging on your lips and your looks, it is my heart beating, my will, my soul. It is I who have taken years off my life to write our masterpiece, only to disappear into the silence behind you. I do. I cannot separate what I am and what you are from the other anymore. What is a playwright? What are words without a voice?
Okay, again, we have questions, so let's activate those.
Yeah.
It's very good what you're doing. You know, and keep breath, even if you're searching for words, whether it's Isaiah's lines or it's your character's
Yes.
words.
Yeah.
Just let breath find it, you know, find it with breath, don't hold. Okay, questions again.
How many times have I seen you standing here, knowing that it is my words you say? While they're hanging on your lips and your looks, it is my heart beating, my will, my soul. It is I who have taken years off my life to write our masterpiece, only to disappear into the silence behind you. I do. I am nothing. I am a wraith in a dark wind. The only time I feel alive is when I am here with you, standing on stage, watching you launch yourself into eternity. And then it all comes back. My life itself comes in a rush so powerful I feel it might destroy me. And yet there is no place for me here. What is the playwright? What are words without a voice? What am I without you? What was I before you? I didn't come here to frighten you. Frighten you. You who fear nothing.
So where does that come from, that line about frightening her?
It came from an earlier part of the, it's probably why the monologue is problematic doing it disjointed. There was a line earlier. She says, I need you to leave because you know, I don't, what, did you come to frighten me? She asked, did you come to frighten me? Based on
Okay, so it's
what they
harkening
were
back to
talking
that.
about earlier.
I think that for the purposes of this speech, I'd love to see it come from that moment.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you started to lay her with questions again, right? And what you're saying is pretty intense. Just get right from her. You know.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I know what you mean. Yes.
Okay, let's go from there.
What is a playwright? What are words without a voice? What am I without you? What was I before you? I don't know what I want beyond the wanting of you. I didn't come here to frighten you. Frighten you? You who fear nothing? Doubt that the stars do shine. Doubt that the sun doth move. Doubt that truth be a liar, but never doubt I love.
Great, that was amazing. I think that's a great piece for you. And I love the way, you know, when you did the questions at the beginning, and you really had that sense of question, then when you made a statement, I forget what the line was exactly, but when you started to kind of reveal your heart about you're nothing without her and the words and the work, and it landed so strongly for me because of that.
Yeah, yeah.
And the nice thing about this piece is that, and what you said about the moment before is that, you know, she's questioning, what are you doing here? And then you really do deliver what you're doing here, which is that you can't be anywhere else. You can't exist without her. You know, I mean, it really has a great through line, and it's a great piece, very beautiful piece. You know, I think
Thank you so much.
Keep letting breath in there, and, you know, really, you know, lay those things on her, question her with it, and find it, because in questioning her, you're questioning yourself and trying to come up with an answer.
Of course.
And then the only answer is, you know, the very painful truth that you find.
Yeah.
You know?
It has all those wonderful complexities that actors so desperately need, which is trying to put yourself in a place of not knowing, trying to put yourself in a, where you're forced to have to explore because you're trying to work out, you're trying to understand something.
Well, that's something that you can trust, because all those moments, you totally helped me when you were trying to find it. And that's because of where you start from, you know what I mean? So I think, you know, some of the emotion that you developed throughout the piece, you know, you can then go circle back around and bring that with you at the beginning, even though you haven't put it in words yet. You haven't been forced to articulate it. Now she's asking you to articulate it, and you've got to say it to her, and that can cost you, you know. But But so I think he's coming, he's loaded. He doesn't know why he's here. You have to find it through the words.
Yeah.
But it's there from the beginning. It's like a magnet, you know. He keeps coming back to her, and, you know, work. Yeah, very, very good. Good. I'm gonna leave it there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Isaiah. Kira.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, Kira. Okay, let's do a little Jailer's Daughter. So we were talking about a moment before.
Yeah.
So did you think of something strong for you?
Yeah, I think that because in the actual play, this is the first time that we see her. So there's no like actual written moment before, but what I've been sort of operating with is the idea that she has just come from her daily chores in the jail cell with him and has spent the time walking away, like moments before, sort of like beating herself up about I am nothing, you know what I mean? Like, why? I think that that's like what she's repeating to herself. Yeah, that's just sort of what I've been.
Okay, well, let's try. Let's see where that takes us.
Okay. Why should I love this gentleman? 'Tis odds he never will affect me. I am base, my father the mean keeper of his prison, and he a prince. To marry him is hopeless. To be his whore is witless. Out upon't. What pushes are we wenches driven to when 15 once has found us? First, I saw him. I, seeing, thought he was a goodly man. He has as much to please a woman in him, if he pleased to bestow it so, as ever these eyes yet looked on. Next, I pitied him, and so would any young wench of my conscience that ever dreamed or vowed her maidenhead to a young, handsome man. Then I loved him, extremely loved him, infinitely loved him. And yet he had a cousin as fair as he too, but in my heart was Palamon. And there, Lord, what a coil he keeps. But to hear him sing in an evening, what a heaven it is. And yet, his songs are sad ones. Fairer spoken was never gentleman. When I come in to bring him water in a morning, first he bows his noble body, then salutes me thus. Fair gentle maid, good morrow. May thy goodness get thee a happy husband. Once he kissed me. I loved my lips the better 10 days after. Would he would do so every day. He grieves much, and me as much, to see his misery. What should I do to make him know I love him? For I would fain enjoy him. Say I ventured to set him free. What says the law then? Thus much for law or kindred. I shall do it. And this night, or tomorrow, he shall love me.
Okay, good. You know, I feel like it's very well thought out, and I feel like you have a very good sense of the text and text work and kind of how to arrange the thoughts. Now I want to feel the wildness underneath the text, the verse,
Yeah.
the very kind of proper verse, because you have a technical gift. I want to try it. Let's get a couple deep breaths at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, let's use the breath instead of, you know, what you told me about the walking away from him and thinking you're nothing. Let's not worry about that yet, because we're going to find that in the text in a second. Let's just deal with the feeling of when you're near somebody that sets your heart aflutter.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just start from that feeling and then use the speech to deal with it. And I want you to tell it to your friend during social distancing time who lives across the canyon. But once a day, you know, you share thoughts with each other and you shout it across a canyon to each other. Okay, so this is just an experiment. So yeah. There's no right answer. So just to throw yourself into it. Couple deep breaths and send it out. We'll do a few lines this way and just see where it takes us.
Okay. Why should I love this gentleman? 'Tis odds he never will affect me. I am base, my father the mean keeper of his prison, and he a prince.
Your father is who?
The mean keeper of his prison.
Yeah, he's a garbage man. You know?
Yeah.
That's who your father is, you know. Yeah, that's, you know, again, it's in the name of the character. So go ahead, tell your friend.
Yeah. Why should I love this gentleman? 'Tis odds he never will affect me. I am base, my father the mean keeper of his prison, and he a prince. To marry him is hopeless. To be his whore is witless. Out upon't.
Why do you say to be his whore?
That's a great question. I think that this monologue feels different to me now that I do the beginning part. Before it felt a lot more like light, and I think I'm having a hard time finding that way back in. But I think that there is an aspect to her and to this monologue that is like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a light with passion. Like that idea actually, like to marry him is hopeless, to be his whore, I think is one of those like fleeting fancies where you're like, that actually is a bad idea. Does that make sense?
Do you want to marry him?
I think that she knows that there's no hope of marrying him, but the idea of being his whore for a split second might be appealing.
Well, both things are, things you think about when you're in love with somebody.
Right.
So shout it to your friend. First you have to own the idea of marrying him. So ask your friend, should I marry him? Call it across the canyon. Just say, should I marry him? Just yell it out to her or him.
Do you want me to say the line, or do you want me to say?
No, say that line. Should I marry him? Just say, should I marry him? Yell it out.
Should I marry him?
Okay, go. To marry him?
To marry him is hopeless. To be his whore.
Well, that's another idea. Because you could just go into his cell right now and just have your way with him, right?
Right.
He's trapped in a cell. You could just throw yourself at him. So I think you should treat it as real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a difficult concept in our, and it's worded in a very, intense way, but that's Shakespeare, this is getting at something primal, and that is an option for you. You could go in that cell and just jump on top of him. That is another, you have to let yourself go through that.
Yeah.
Because you're verbalizing it. Why? Why would you say it? We didn't ask you to say it. You said it. You know what I mean? You got to own it. So just work it out with your friend. Cross the canyon. Go ahead.
To marry him is hopeless. To be his whore is witless. Out upon. What pushes are we wenches driven to when 15 once has found us?
What does that mean?
I think it's her. It means like what once we become 15, and what happens to us then? Like, why are we so compelled to act this way?
And what made you say that?
Because she just had the thought.
You said whore.
Yeah.
You just said it.
Yeah.
So you got to let yourself go there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to go there. To me, it's whore. Should I just throw myself on him? And then you can have the experience of, justifying that. Oh my God, what's happening to me? What's happening to me? That's what you're trying to figure out.
Yeah.
What is happening to you right now?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to take it back to marry him.
Wherever.
To marry him is hopeless. To be his whore is witless. Out upon. What pushes are we wenches driven to when 15 once has found us? First, I saw him. I, seeing, thought he was.
Tell your friend across the canyon. Make sure that she gets it.
Yeah. First, I saw him. I, seeing, thought he was a goodly man. He has as much to please a woman in him, if he pleased to bestow it so, as ever these eyes yet looked on. Next, I pitied him. And so would any young wench.
Stop there. I pitied him. Now your friend is in the room with you, and your father's in the next room, and you don't want him to know, so just whisper it, okay?
Okay.
All right, right from there, from I pitied him.
Next, I pitied him. And so would any young wench of my conscience.
Quiet. Don't let anyone hear, okay?
That ever dreamed or vowed her maidenhead to a young handsome man. Then I loved him. Extremely loved him, infinitely loved him. And yet he had a cousin as fair as he too, but in my heart.
Okay, I loved him. And then I want you to take a breath between each of those loved him beats, okay? And just find it, in your body, okay? Really deep breaths, and just exaggerate them a little bit. And just don't speak until you have possessed the thought, really own it in your body, okay? And you can keep the whispering going.
Then
Whisper.
I loved him. Extremely loved him. Infinitely loved him.
Well, you didn't let yourself breathe before infinitely. I want you to take a breath between each little micro thought. Sweet.
Then I loved him. Extremely loved him. Infinitely loved him.
Breathe.
And yet, he had a cousin as fair as he too. But in my heart was Palamon. And there, Lord, what a coil he keeps. To hear him sing in an evening.
Someone's coming. Okay, wait. Okay, keep going.
What a heaven it is. And yet, his songs are sad ones. Fairer spoken was never gentleman. When I come in to bring him water in a morning, first he bows his noble body, then salutes me thus. Fair gentle maid, good morrow. May thy goodness get thee a happy husband. Once he kissed me. I loved my lips the better 10 days after. Would he would do so every day. He grieves much, and me as much, to see his misery. What should I do to make him know I love him?
Go to see his misery and just take a breath there. Don't show me that you're thinking. Just breathe and think, okay? Very good.
He grieves much, and me as much, to see his misery. What should I do to make him know I love him? For I would fain enjoy him. Say I ventured to set him free.
Right there. See, that's where you did it. So you started to show me that you're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to breathe your way out of that habit
Mm-hmm.
and just let it come.
He grieves much, and me as much, to see his misery. What should I do to make him know I love him? For I would fain enjoy him. Say I ventured to set him free. What says the law then? Thus much, for law or kindred, I shall do it. And this night or tomorrow, he shall love me.
Good. I feel like, there's another level to the punch that you're going to get at the end as you go back and work on it that way. But did you feel a lot more depth in there?
Yeah.
For me, I was pulled into the story so much more and sort of worried for you and excited for you and, hanging on the twists and turns of the story.
Yeah.
What you have to fight against is, you have a really good brain going. And so, in Shakespeare it's helpful to have a good brain, but it's always at war with the heart, those two things are always at war. And so you got to let both happen. So let that breath in so that you can get at all the juicy bits in this incredible language, you're going to wring more meaning out of it. That's being really concise and and on the meter, and so let it be wild. Rehearse it really sloppy, do exercises like that, things to make you physical, to get you out of your head and into your body, because you have it all there. And when you combine those two things, you're a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Some really incredible moments that you found in there, and I think you can get a lot more. And then I think when you hit home at the end of that speech and you're like, I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be so exciting. But you're gonna have to thread all that together. I wish I had more time now, but I'm gonna move on. That was fantastic work.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Good. Okay, where are we? Christina.
Yes.
All right, let's do some Joy. I know we're up against the time as we've got 4 more people. We're gonna hit them all. Christina, did we talk about the moment before for you? We didn't really.
No, but I'll press on.
Right.
I would say the moment before of this scene is she's secured a hotel room to confront her business partner, and she's waiting for his arrival.
She's okay. Okay, good.
I made a phone call to Hong Kong this morning. It was 1 a.m. in California, but it was 5:30 p.m. the following day in Hong Kong. I always thought that was amazing, how time works like that. But I was fortunate enough to speak to a Mr. Christopher on the phone, who turned out to be very friendly, which was surprising considering I haven't found gentlemen in California to be very nice, especially considering we're in business together. Welcome to the world of business, I guess. So I call Mr. Christopher to discuss the differences in the designs of our products. And it turns out Mr. Christopher had no idea if his patent for a self-wringing mop was worth anything, or if it even worked, because he has not made or sold a single mop. Unlike us, who have sold over 200,000. And I've given you over $50,000 in advance royalties. Blood money from my family and my second mortgage. Turns out Mr. Christopher had no idea about these royalties, so it seems you and I have a case of fraud and embezzlement. And as if that weren't bad enough, I took a look at the original paperwork, and it seems our mops don't bear any resemblance, which means we have another case of fraud. My lawyers really could go after you, but I told them, give me a day. Give me a day to see if maybe you made a mistake that you'd be willing to correct, given the chance.
Good. Good. So what's, I mean, I get the general gist, but I'd like to get a little clearer on what's happening. I mean, she's putting the screws to this guy. What is she hoping for? What is she hoping for out of this from him?
I think that if I were to take it to court, it would cost me a lot more, and it would be a very timely process, which I am pressed for time. I have things to do.
Yeah. And so what are you hoping to get from him right now?
I want an apology in hard cash. It would alleviate a lot.
Mm-hmm. And how are you going to get it from him?
Well, I figured that if I'm in this hotel room and I'm in this discreet town, and he is as well. And if he wants to clear his name and his business, he can come up with the cash. And if he can, I could take it to court, and it will take time. And if I have to do
But
that,
how are you going to get it today, right now, during the speech? What are you going to use to get what you want?
I haven't thought of that.
Well, you're going to use you.
Yeah.
You're going to use charm. You're a self-made businesswoman. And you said, let me handle this, right?
Right.
You said, give me a chance. At least that's what you're presenting to him, is that I could sick my lawyers on you. Now, of course, that could be a ploy, but let's take it at face value. You are going to work him, right? So that whole beginning of the speech, you know, it's charming and it's an interesting story. And hey, people haven't been that nice to me, but here is this thing and here's all this promise. And then you got fucked. Mm-hmm. But you're giving this guy the benefit of the doubt, you know, so there is a little bit of cat and mouse, you know, playing with him, pulling him along. You're using the force of your own personality and your warmth and your strength. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's one of those characters that, you know, we fall in love with because she's done it all herself and because of her moxie, you know, and so use everything at your disposal to get that so that it doesn't just, I mean, it was good what you did, but, you know, I found myself a little bit in it going, okay, why am I listening to this monologue? You know what I mean? And I want to feel that I'm being pulled along by somebody who's in control of the situation, because she is fully working this guy right now. She's going to get it done. So that's what I want you to approach it with, you know, with the mindset of like, I'm going to get this done and I'm going to use all these different ways to do it and take them on this little journey. So you, the actor who's storyteller, has the advantage of also a character who is being a storyteller and being charming and, you know, winning and somewhat surprising, you know, so see how much you can find in there to keep him off balance and eventually wrap him around your finger to get what you absolutely need. It is because of that absolute need. I can't go to court. I can't, you know, let my family fall apart over this thing that I built that is so, you know, could be so fragile, but could also be so strong. You know, it could be this great success story, or it could all come crumbling down today. You know what I mean? So win, go win. You built it this far. You're not going to let it fall through your fingers. You know, go get it done. Let's try it one more time and let that breath in. There's a little bit up here going on that I would like to see you kind of breathe into and let go of. Okay, just a little relaxation in your face. And just do it with the storytelling, you know, just win him, just win him, just beat his ass, okay?
Okay. I made a phone call to Hong Kong this morning. It was 1 a.m. in California, but it was 5:30 p.m. the following day in Hong Kong. I always thought that was amazing. How time works like that. But I was fortunate enough to speak to a Mr. Christopher on the phone. Turned out to be very friendly, which was surprising considering I haven't found gentlemen in California to be very nice, especially considering we're in business together. Welcome to the world of business, I guess. So I called Mr. Christopher to discuss the differences in the designs of our products. And it turns out, Mr. Christopher has no idea if his patent for a self-wringing mop is worth anything, or if it even works, because he has not made or sold a single mop, unlike us who have sold over 200,000.
Good. Okay, so take a deep breath there. It's very good. Everything you're doing is very good. I just want a little less head movement here, because a lot of it is going into your head, right? And I know that there's a lot in there. There's a lot of feeling in there that's wanting to come out. But I just think if you just kind of let go of this, and again, just let a little breath come into your neck and a little rest come into your face, and just do it with the words with him. Lock into him now. Don't let him go, okay? You're just going to use like a laser focus now to hold him with your thoughts, okay? So a little less like looking around to the sides. It's all very good what you've done up to here, but I just want to take it to the next level of sort of confidence and, you know, you just trusting the words. Okay, so now don't let him go. Wherever we just stopped, somewhere in there, pick it up from there and just hold him and don't let him out of your grip, okay?
Okay.
And breathe.
Unlike us, who have sold over 200,000, and I've given you over $50,000 in advance royalties. Blood money from my family and my second mortgage. Turns out Mr. Christopher had no idea about these royalties, which means you and I have a case of fraud and embezzlement. And as if that weren't bad enough, I took a look at our original paperwork, and it seems our maps don't bear any resemblance, which means we have another case of fraud. My lawyers really could go after you, but I told them, give me a day.
Okay, so this dead serious, make him really believe it. You got to make him believe it. The charm is great, and you can layer it back on, right? Because you're going to play good cop and bad cop, right? The lawyers are bad cop, right? They really wanted to go for you. Make him believe that. And then make him believe they're like, I said no, because I think this guy, I can talk to him. You know what I mean? So that's where the working comes, right? But make each thing have its weight.
Okay. And as if that weren't bad enough, I took a look at our original paperwork, and it seems our maps don't bear any resemblance, which means we've got another case of fraud. My lawyers really could go after you, but I told them, give me a day. Give me a day to see if maybe you made a mistake that you'd be willing to correct. Give it a chance.
Good. 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 I feel like you can even land it stronger. I feel like the stronger you get with the lawyers and you have to be, you got to own that. You got to own that group of lawyers, and the whole thing, however much she's making it up or not, you got to own it, because that's the whole, joy in this performance, in this story, is watching somebody against the odds succeed, right? Fight the odds and build it herself with her wiles and her smarts, and that's the joy in this speech, is watching her lay it on him, use her charm, and then threaten him, and then put the screws to him again, and you leave it with the question of like, so what are you going to do? And that leaves us wanting more again, which is what you always want at the end of a monologue, right? Is for people to want more. So that was really good. You think you know where to take it from there?
I definitely have to work on it. I think there's a lot of duality in that, and I'm curious to.
I think that it should be mostly fun. I think it's just more have fun. It's a cliche. Have fun with it. But I think this piece is really fun, and I think you have all the tools to make it really fun. So it's just like allowing yourself to go there, and allow yourself to go there through breath, through owning each thing, and the strength in this woman, so that you don't feel like you have to sell on your face. You know what I mean? You can let this part and that's, again, like I said to Dante, record yourself doing it. It would be an interesting experiment to watch, and it can be tough sometimes, but it can be really useful, because you'll see like, okay, where am I getting across what I want to be? Where do I feel like I'm working too hard? Where can I afford to take a breath? Just to see if you're getting across what you want to be getting across. You know what I mean? It's good. I think it's good. It's a good piece for you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to move on to Sam. Thanks, Christina.
Hi.
Okay, where are you, Sam?
Can you see me?
Oh, okay, there you are. Okay, great. Okay, Sam, let's knock out a little more comedy of errors. So what is your moment before?
I've had this conversation with my sister, and basically I'm lamenting to her that I know he's cheating. I'm gonna find out. And I'm also
something with him, because you're seeing him now, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go find him to confront him, because I know there's also it's
But you have found him, because now you're talking to him.
Yeah.
So there is a moment that has happened where you see him.
Yeah.
So that's where I want you to get specific.
I see him and he acts like he doesn't know me.
There you go. There you go. Okay, breaths.
I, Antipholus, look strange and frown. Some other mistress hath thy sweet aspect. I am not Adriana, nor thy wife.
Okay, so that's a totally other thought. So I want you to let yourself have the moment of him looking at you funny.
Okay.
And take even too much time with it.
Okay.
Just so you get grounded in it. We'll wonder what's going on, so it will hold, before you speak.
Sure.
He's looking at you like he's never seen you before, right? So I look strange and frown. And then there's another thought about some other mistress, right? So there needs to be a change there. The beat changes in Shakespeare come fast and furious. So that's where all the juice is. That is the meat of the whole thing, is when you find where those little changes of thought are and what they do to you, and to really go hard in one direction and then pivot in another. That's how you take the audience on a journey. Because it's poetry, it requires that you control that thought process. Yes.
Glenn, I'm so sorry to jump in, but Laura needs to leave very quickly. Sam, are you good to stay so Glenn can quickly finish with Laura and then come back to you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sam.
Thanks for being so flexible. So,
Thank
Laura,
you.
over to you.
Yes, so sorry, Sam. Thank you so much. Have to go.
Quite all right. Thank you, Laura. Let's do it. Let's dive in.
Sure.
Portia, moment before.
Well, right before she comes in, the guys that Brutus is talking with leave the house. So she hears all of that. But the line right before she starts speaking for this monologue is he tells her it's just due to ill health, which I think she kind of sees right through. That was something I was actually reconciling with you saying ask the question as truly asking it. Because I can't shake that I think she sees that the excuse is BS. But I still have to ask the question as if I really want to know the answer.
But sometimes when you're in an argument with somebody, you want to make them double down. If somebody's lying to you, you want to make them, back it up. Say, okay, so are you sick? You're sick? Is that your story that you're going with? You know what I mean? So see if you can do that in order to get that further thing that you want, which we'll find out what that is.
For sure.
Okay. All right, take some deep breaths. You can also even have them just leaving, if that helps you more,
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever it is that helps you launch into the speech, because we're taking this out of the context of the play. It's really for you. It's a launching off point for you and what gives you the strongest entry into the scene.
Okay. Is Brutus sick? And is it physical to walk unbraced and suck up the humors of the dank morning? What, is Brutus sick? And will he steal out of his wholesome bed to dare the vile contagion of the night and tempt the roomy and unpurged airs to add unto his sickness? No. No, my Brutus, you have some sick offense within your mind.
Yes, so the farther you go into that questioning, the stronger that no is, because you're going to answer the question, because you hold the answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the next part of the speech you're going to get to. You really set us up the more you pose the question. And it's hard to sustain because he gives you so much language there, but that is your task. So, you know, as it gets from is Brutus sick to longer sentences, to sustain that intention. And I felt a little bit your impulse to kind of pull away and leave the scene a little bit. So don't let yourself leave the scene. Double down on it. You're asking it again, like we said with Lady M. You're asking a question again because you're going to hold his feet to the fire, right? You know this man. Okay? So even though you know the answer, you got to make him squirm in order to get something to change.
Okay.
You got to change the temperature, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Is Brutus sick? And is it physical to walk unbraced and suck up the humors of the dank morning? What, is Brutus sick? And will he steal out of his wholesome bed to dare the vile contagion of the night and tempt the roomy and unpurged airs to add unto his sickness? No. No, my Brutus, you have some sick offense within your mind, which by the right and virtue of my place I ought to know of.
Go back again to no. I want to hear this argument really clearly. And just be careful. You have a couple little tendencies to want to kind of glance away. I think that this is a moment where you should just really lock in on him. You're very powerful and you're just straightforward and pure and just let the language come. It's very strong, so you got to trust that. Now I want to get this next part a little clearer than from no.
Okay.
Take a breath.
No. No, my Brutus, you have some sick offense within your mind, which by the right and virtue of my place I ought to know of. And upon my knees, I charm you by my once commended beauty.
What was happening in there?
Well, usually I would get on
down on your knees.
But I think for
that's all right. You can do it gesturally, you know, just that little leaning forward. What I don't want is for you to go away. And I feel like I keep kind of losing you. I get these really strong statements. And then once you do this, I lose the thread. You know what I mean? I want to be on the edge of my seat here.
Okay.
So I don't want you to let me off the hook. I don't want you to let Brutus off the hook. And I don't want you to let the audience off the hook. Okay? That's fine. Just a small gesture, a small shift in position is fine for this purpose. Yeah. What does she mean when she says, I ought to know? She's saying,
I am your wife, and as your wife, it is within our partnership for you to share that with me.
You should tell me.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to feel that.
Okay. Same place. No. No, my Brutus, you have some sick offense within your mind, which by the right and virtue of my place I ought to know of.
Yeah, just be careful of the my, shooting too much on the my. I lose the thought. The my is implied, right? And usually Shakespeare scans not on the pronouns, right? Of my place. It's my place to know what's in your mind. I should be the one that you confide in, right? Yeah. And you're not telling me anything. What's going on? Mm-hmm. There's all these people in the house. What's going on? Tell me. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
No. No, my Brutus, you have some sick offense within your mind, which by the right and virtue of my place I ought to know of. And upon my knees, I charm you by my once commended beauty,
by all your vows of love, and that great vow which should incorporate and make us one, that you do unfold to me yourself, your half, why you are heavy, and what men here tonight have had to resort to you, for here have been some 6 or 7 who did hide their faces, even from darkness.
Okay, let's go back a little bit. It's gotten a little fast, and I'm losing the thread a little bit, but that was really strong when you knelt. Be careful of those pronouns because they really cost you. You can let them be a little more implied. I ought to know of, right? If you go, I ought to know of, I don't understand it as well. I ought to know of, right? Then there was some more after that. The I's and U's, right?
Yeah.
Just get to the meat of it, the thought.
Sure.
And then it goes into, there's a shift because then we start to talk about these people who are here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very beautiful about the vows. That's very moving. And you can take that even farther, really let each of those things have its weight because it's these vows, and then it's like, and the big one, right? When we stood there and we got married in front of those people and said all those words, you know, so it kind of builds. Okay, let's do that part.
Yeah. And upon my knees, I charm you by my once commended beauty, by all your vows of love, and that great vow which should incorporate and make us one, that you do unfold to me yourself, your half, why you are heavy, and what men here tonight have had to resort to you, for here have been some 6 or 7.
So I'm losing you. Why you are heavy, right? Is that what you say?
Why you are heavy. Mm-hmm.
Why you are heavy, and
for some reason posing it that way just made me blank. Yeah. Why you're heavy and what?
I want you to get some breath in there and really find the thoughts yourself, because it's a little off to the races and I don't quite hang on, which means you're not completely owning it yet. So there's something in there that we need to find. Why you are heavy, and
why you are heavy, and what men here tonight have had to resort to you. For here have been some 6 or 7.
That's what it is. It's a question.
Okay.
Who was here? I hear all these people. Like there's something really messed up going on. Why are there a bunch of men in your house in the middle of the night or at the crack of dawn? Something is really messed up.
Yeah. Can I go from
yeah,
the kneel?
Of course.
Okay. And upon my knees, I charm you by my once commended beauty, by all your vows of love, and that great vow which did incorporate and make us one, that you do unfold to me yourself, your half, why you are heavy, and what men here tonight have had to resort to you. For here have been some 6 or 7 who did hide their faces, even from darkness.
They did what?
Here have been some 6 or 7 who did hide their faces.
Hide their faces. Now, you know, these days we're all hiding our faces, right? But at this time, that was really weird.
Mm-hmm.
You noticed that. You saw that. There's something very strange going on, and it's dangerous. And you want to be there for him. You want to be included. And maybe, you know, who knows? Maybe you could stop him, or maybe you could help him. But first, he's got to share it with you.
Sure. And upon my knees, I charm you by my once commended beauty, by all your vows of love, and that great vow which did incorporate and make us one, that you do unfold to me yourself, your half, why you are heavy, and what men here tonight have had to resort to you. For here have been some 6 or 7 who did hide their faces, even from darkness. I should not need if you were gentle, Brutus. Within this bond of marriage, tell me, Brutus, is it expected I should know no secrets that appertain to you? Am I but as it were in sort or limitation to keep with you at meals, comfort your bed, and talk to you sometimes? Do I lie but in the suburbs of your good pleasure? If it be no more, Portia is Brutus's harlot, not his wife.
Good. Yeah, you hear how many questions you have at the end there?
I do. I never noticed those.
That was all questions. So I want you, if I had more time, we'd do more of that, but I want you to take the work you did on the first half and bring that to the second half, that let breath in and let each question land. And so then you can say, what's the last line?
Portia, harlot, not his wife.
That's a really hard-hitting line, but it's
Right.
got to be set up by what comes before it. Am I going to just talk to you sometimes? Is this my role?
Yeah.
Because then I'm your whore, right? So that should really hit home. It's good. You have it all there. I just want you to put it all together. And if you record yourself, I want you to just take a look at, it doesn't happen all the time, but, there is a slight tendency to kind of drift away. And if you
Right.
do that, it should be with great intention that you're drifting away. And then you come back and lay it on, or whatever. Or if it's a point of focus over here, it doesn't matter. We'll stay with it, but it should be, it's that important. There's this whole society at risk in this play, and you don't know exactly what's going on, but you can feel it. The women in the play are very sensitive, feeling people, and they don't live long, So, it's high stakes.
Right.
It's very high stakes. Portia doesn't have a lot of time in the play, so you got to make the most of it. You know what I mean? And that's what that speech is meant to do. It's meant to pack a punch. It's meant to put his feet to the fire, because he's a guy who's questioning, and maybe he could be talked out of what's about to happen, and it's him being on that knife's edge of, is this the way that this whole society is going to go, or is it going to go the other way? And it kind of rests on that character, your husband. So you might have a big hand in history in this speech, you know what I mean? And you may not know all that, but you sense something, big.
For sure.
So get to the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Thanks. Good luck. All right, we're back to, where are we, Sam?
I think I'm here.
Okay, Sam and then Brooke. Okay, Sam, thank you so much for waiting so patiently. All right, let's go back to the top. And remember that little beat change right at the beginning, okay? So, and take the moment to see him. Just take him in and play with it. Just see what you think the beginning of it is.
I, Antipholus, look strange and frown. Some other mistress hath thy sweet aspect. I am not Adriana nor thy wife.
What I want to see is, I want to see you discover it in that moment. I want you to take that from his face.
Okay.
You're cheating on me. I know it in this very moment. You know what I mean?
I, Antipholus, look strange and frown. Some other mistress hath thy sweet aspect. I am not Adriana, nor thy wife. The time was once when thou unurged wouldst vow that never words were music to thine ear, that never object pleasing in thine eye, that never touch well welcome to thy hand, that never meat sweet savored in thy taste, unless I spake or looked or touched or carved to thee. How comes it now, my husband? Oh, how comes it that thou art thus estranged from thy wife?
Okay, good. It's sort of like when I was talking to Dante about, letting yourself have the experience of the early part of the speech, the pleasant memory. I want you to take me on that ride so that we understand this big, complicated thought. The time has been that, you didn't do this and you didn't do that, and unless I was involved, I was everything to you. It is that very feeling that is making you feel the way you feel right now, because he doesn't know you. It's very jarring.
Yeah.
So just take me there, let yourself go there and trust that you'll come back out the other side. You know what I mean? You can't just ride one emotion in Shakespeare, because he's constantly changing direction on you.
Yeah.
So yeah, wherever you want to pick it up.
The time was once when thou unurged wouldst vow that never words were music to thine ear, that never object pleasing in thine eye, that never touch well welcome to thy hand, that never meat sweet savored in thy taste, unless I spake, or looked, or touched, or carved to thee. Well, how comes it now, my husband? Oh, how comes it that thou art thus estranged from thy wife? How dearly would it touch thee to the quick, shouldst thou but hear I were licentious, and that this body consecrate to thee by ruffian lust should be contaminate? Wouldst thou not spit at me, and spurn at me, and hurl the name of husband in my face, and tear the stained skin from my harlot brow, and from my false hand cut the wedding ring, and break it with a deep divorcing vow? I know thou canst, and therefore see thou do it. I am possessed with an adulterate blot. My blood is mingled with the crime of lust, for if we two be one and thou playest false, I do digest the poison of thy strumpet. Keep then fair league and truce in thy true bed. I live unstained, thou undishonored.
Good. Very good. That was really nice stuff in there. Don't let yourself, don't cheat yourself of the strong ending. You started to just lose a little steam at the very end. So however far you get to, you got to keep going. It's an endurance test, these Shakespeare monologues. The thing I would say is that what we're not getting to see by it being a monologue and not a scene is that your husband is a different guy. And he doesn't know who the hell you are or why he's being yelled at. So that's where a lot of the comedy comes from. So the more you can do to create him, as we talked about with some of the other monologues, that like in the monologue, you're actually creating a scene and you're responsible a little bit for the other person. So the more you can create that with his looks, where we can imagine how he must be looking at you, it takes it from this sort of sad drama that you're playing to the comedy that it is meant to be. And that's a tough burden on you. But what I'm very happy about is that you found great truth there and great strength in the piece, which it has, and that character should have. That's really a big part of the battle, is just getting to own that language and that truth and being able to lay it on him, which you did. So now to find some of the playfulness in there where he's just staring at you like he's never seen you before, and it keeps setting you off more to go on these further, explanations and theories and fantasies about what he might be doing, to let that in, so let that some of that fun in. It's a tough onus on you, but that's what you chose. So that's where I would that's where I would say to go. But I am very impressed with what you manifested there. That was great. Any other questions for me?
No, I think that's really helpful, and I think it was just kind of, I was feeling cerebral about reminding myself of the breaths, so I think I was getting stunted in my transitions, and I think I just need to. I think it'd be helpful to record myself reacting more off of the person I create. I feel like the notes you were giving other people about things they do with their faces or things like that, I'm very like aware of the proportion of my like features when I get really animated on camera.
But it'll hold. It'll hold. When you let loose and you started to just go because that's where the language was taking you, I was fully with you and I heard everything. I wasn't distracted by anything. It's, doing the little homework bits that know what those beat changes are, what those intentions are, what that original moment is, and what will make it funny. Because of course you don't want to play for laughs, and in some sense she has to be really committed to her anger.
It's serious. He doesn't know. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but to let that in, because in the course of the actual play we would be also watching him looking at you like, who is this woman, right? Because you got the wrong guy. So that's excellent job.
Thank you so much.
Yes, great to meet you. All right, Brooke, the moment has come for Lady M.
Hey, sorry. Thank you.
Hi. Okay, well, we already talked about the moment before and got to see a little bit of this, but let's bite off the whole thing and then see if there's a moment or two we want to tweak, okay? Keep working the way you work.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since, and wakes it now to look so green and pale at what it did so freely? From this time such I account thy love.
From this time such I account thy what?
I count thy love.
Thy love, that's very important.
Yeah.
This is how your love is going to be measured in murder, right? This is the crux of the whole story of these two people. From this time such I account thy love. Really drive through it. That's why it's at the end of the line.
From this time such I account thy love. Art thou afeared to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have, which thou esteem'st, the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage?
What is the ornament of life?
The crown.
Yeah, I want to feel that.
Yeah.
You can't throw that phrase away. The ornament of life. It's chosen so specifically.
Yeah.
That's how she thinks of it.
Wouldst thou, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Take your time.
Wouldst thou have, which thou esteem'st, the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage?
Right, so the difference between I dare not and I would.
I dare not.
That land, and then like the poor cat of the adage is on top of that. But make sure that you've made that distinction. This play, as probably more than any other, is filled with opposites. They're just constant throughout. He's constantly balancing one thing against another, one thing against another. It happens all the time. And you need to give them their weight and find that balance. They're constantly weighing these people, and she's trying to tip the scale back in her favor here. One more time from there.
Wouldst thou esteem, wouldst thou esteem the ornament of life? Wouldst thou esteem the ornament of life?
Wouldst thou have that?
Sorry, I'm like totally lost.
That's all right. Just take a moment, take a breath, and find it. It's okay.
Wouldst thou have that which thou esteem'st, the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage? What beast was it then thou made thou break this enterprise to me?
Okay, so what happened between that, the one line and the next?
He says something like, I dare do all that become a man. So
Right, but what's going to happen for you here? Because we're not playing that line.
I think like, why are you breaking this promise to me? Like, what made you do that? Because this is so unlike you.
Right.
Like,
okay.
This is me, this is your wife, this is your love, and you're breaking this promise to me.
Okay. Let me hear that again.
What beast was it then, thou made thou break this enterprise to me?
No, go back a line before. Because you have a cut in there, I want you to make sure you have that transition.
Okay.
And I could feel something not fully ironed out. So let's find that moment.
Wouldst thou have, which thou esteemest, the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not, wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage? What beast was it then, thou made thou break this enterprise to me?
Okay, so you can't fall off there.
Yeah.
Would you do that, right? Letting I dare not wait upon I would, because I want you to do I would, right? Like the poor cat in the adage, he says, I dare do all that may become a man, who dares do more is none, right? But in your case, it's just a look on his face. It's just a look on his face. That's all you need, okay? And then you have to take it further, because what's the next line?
What beast was, after that?
No, what beast?
Yeah.
You can't pull back there. You promised me. Who was it that said this other thing? I have a letter that says, right?
Yeah.
What beast was it then? How horrible that you're going to tease me like this, right? It's too good a language to just backfoot it, you know? So take the next step forward. See where it takes you.
Okay, back to that.
Yep.
Wouldst thou have, which thou esteemest, the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not, wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage? What beast was it then, thou made thou break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man, and to be more than what you were.
No, land that. When you durst do it, then you were
a man, and to be more than what you were, you would be so much more than man. Nor time, nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and that
Where are you going? You're doing a lot of looking around. You've almost got him, right? You're attacking his manhood, so don't let go of that.
Sorry.
That's all right. What beast was then? Go from there. What beast was then?
What beast was it then, thou made thou break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man, and to be more than what you were, you would be so much more than man.
So make sure he gets it. To be more than what you were, right? Because that's what you're searching for. You're both trying to be more. You're both trying to go upward, right? That's the whole thing, is grabbing, the Elizabethans believed in a great chain of being and everyone in their place. And the Macbeths, their sin was, before they even killed anybody, even wanting to be above their place was considered a sin in Elizabethan times.
Yeah.
So this is the crux of it. To be more than what you were, right? Which is what she wants it all. You would be so much more than man. She's playing on his manhood there. Okay, and that's a recurring theme through their conversations. He's a great warrior, and you are assailing his manhood. Go for it.
Sorry.
All right. Take breaths and just find a spot.
What beast was it then, thou made thou break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man, and to be more than what you were, you would be so much more than man. Nor time, nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and that their fitness now does unmake you.
Do you know what that is? You know what you're talking about there?
Yeah. They've made themselves the kings here today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before you were talking about it in theory and maybe and whatever. Now he's in our house. He's in our house. The time is now. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Continue?
Yeah. Nor time nor place. Go from there.
Okay. Nor time, nor place did then I hear, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and that their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender it is to love the babe that milks me. I wouldst, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from its boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn as you had done to this. We fail. But screw your courage to the sticking place, and we'll not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall his hard day's journey soundly invite him, his two chamberlains with eye with wine and wassail so convince that memory, the water of the brain, shall be a fume, and the receipt of reason a limbeck only. When in swinish sleep their drenched natures lie as in a death, what cannot you and I perform against the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers who shall bear the guilt of our great quell?
Bring forth men, children only. That was great. That was great. That was great. You know, I got a couple of questions there at the end, and you leaned into them and you used them, and that's great. You know, you have an awkward cut there if we should fail, but you still have to deliver. We fail, but boom, we'll not fail is the point, right? And once you land that on him, then you can go about your plan. So you got to make sure you grab him there, right? We are not going to fail, okay? Look in my eyes. I got this, and here's how we're going to do it. So then you can go into a little bit of enjoying, which you started to do, of the details of it, and what cannot we do, and what cannot we do, right? Those nice questions that gives a nice other color to the whole thing, right? Her sort of enjoyment in this, and the fact that she's thought it through, you know? Good.
Thank you.
Oh my God. Glenn, I can't believe that when I was thinking of inviting you, I was like, I don't know if Glenn will necessarily be into doing the masterclass. Maybe I can just get him for a Q&A. And you have given
now you can't
you've given a truly, no joke, a truly masterful masterclass. It was quite mesmerizing. And I enjoyed the fact I could just sit back and let you do all the work and stuff. I mean, I hope for all our sakes and the actors in the city, you find time to do more of that in one capacity or not, because that was absolutely amazing. Michelle, could you just unmute people that were here, that are still here and stuff? Because we've broken the record. We've gone an hour over there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was worried about
Thank you so much.
Incredible.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You are just amazing. Isaiah is then shaking his head. He can't believe it. You know, it's been like absolutely extraordinary.
You guys were great. Thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed it, Glenn, as much as
I did.
everyone did.
You know, I didn't stop talking.
Well, like I said very much in our Q&A that whenever I watch your work, I recall, like I said, I don't know how many of you were here, but I recall my late elder brother saying when we were kids watching The Untouchables and watching the great De Niro do his bit as Al Capone, saying, my brother said how this actor, everything he does, he plays it to the full, whether it's a big role or a small role, he's always playing it to the full. And I can think of no other actor that I know that does that like you, Glenn. So thank you for sharing your talent and instincts with us today.
Great fun. You guys gave me lots to work with, so that's always a pleasure.
Love to your family, and I'll see you on the other side of this madness.